Be cool, be kind, be classy. The cupcake's so sweet and sexy. Have fun, enjoy the journey. Just have a good attorney. No big whoop, no biggie. She lives near New York City. Not just a YouTube show. When you know, you better grab a straw. Learn about the law. It's cool here in the shade, sipping motions of lemonade. Cool heads will prevail, kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Oh, Melanie Little is going live. Oh no, where is Melanie? Follow the island's melody. There's a concert within reach. No surprise, she's at Jones Beach. She heard some music far away. Captain Jack Sack Harbor Bay. He sings and his piano plays. Not all sounds are water away. Speaking Yiddish and Latin, it's not just for Manhattan. It's for Proctor and Misogynistic, ridiculous that insanus. Oy vey, Marcus. Pro said, that's for schmucks. Be cool, be kind, be classy. My cupcake's sweet and sassy. Not just a YouTube show. When you know. Cool heads will prevail. Kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Melanie Little is going live.
We're back. We're back. Thanks for coming back with me to hang out for the afternoon. Watch Julie Albert's interviews with the Massachusetts State Police. How's everybody doing? Thoughts before we begin this exciting review of the Massachusetts State Police recorded interviews with Julie Albert. What day was it that we did the other two? I guess it was Saturday. Saturday, we watched the interviews of Courtney Proctor and Chris Albert. They were very interesting, to say the least. Here's the reason why these interviews were done. Let's go back in time. February of 2024, 2 years after the murder of Boston police officer John O'Keefe, Michael Proctor was called into a federal grand jury to testify. At the federal grand jury, we don't know what the feds were investigating really yet at this point, whether it was the investigation of the murder of John O'Keefe, whether it was the Massachusetts State Police as a whole, whether it was the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office as a whole. Yeah, Mitchell, we did all of that earlier. Thank you. But Michael Proctor was called to testify in front of a federal grand jury. At the federal grand jury, he was confronted with text messages that the feds had uncovered. Text messages about Karen Reed and the horrific things that he said about her. You remember what they are, you know them all. Text messages between him and his sister, Courtney, who he is very close to, and group text messages between him and his fellow state troopers, including his supervisors, Fanning, and I think Tully, and Buchanan was in there too. Buchanan was not his supervisor. Oh, please. And also one specific text message between himself and his sister, Courtney, in which Courtney said to Mike Proctor, now they call him Mike Proctor, Julie says that when all this is over, she wants to get you a thank you gift. Well, the reason that that's important is because, number one, it's bribing a police officer to get him a gift for anything. It's improper. The timing of it, also very suspicious. Same day that Karen Reed was arrested for, at that point, it was a manslaughter, vehicular manslaughter, driving under the influence, murder or killing of John O'Keefe. And Proctor didn't know that they had these text messages. So the same day that he gives his grand jury testimony, Fanning and Tully go to his house and they do a wellness check on him because I guess they had to make sure that he wasn't going to, I don't know, take his own life the way he also actually wished on Karen Reed, because he did say that to his sister too. I hope she just takes her own life and then this whole thing would be over for me, because it's all about him all the time. So Telly and Fanning find out about these text messages. And Michael Marcy finds out about these text messages because over 3,000 pages of federal materials were turned over to Karen Reed's team before trial number 1 and the prosecution team. So they had all of this information. Marcy must have been, pooping his pants, because he came out in August of 2023 and did that whole 5-minute hostage video about how these people are just innocent witnesses. The harassment needs to stop. They have no relationship with Michael Proctor. That's a false narrative. Everything Karen Reed says is not true. Michael Proctor never went to the house, 34 Fairview on the January 29th. He did not plant taillight. 11 people say they never saw John O'Keefe enter the home. Forensic evidence says that John O'Keefe never entered the home. This is a false narrative. That was August of 2023. 6 months before all of this stuff was uncovered, and Michael Marcy's like, oh no, maybe they do have a relationship with Michael Proctor. Because guess what? They never asked. And we saw that in Courtney Proctor's interview that we watched the other day, where the MSP detectives or captains that are doing this interview with her, which is recorded, say, did anybody else ever try and talk to you? Anybody else ever ask you about your relationship with Michael Proctor? And she's like, no, nobody ever did. It's wild to me that Michael Marcy went out and released that whole hostage video, never even having inquired. I mean, not her relationship with Proctor, because obviously it's her brother, but Michael's relationship with Julie and Chris Albert, specifically the parents of Colin, the one who wanted to get him a gift. Because again, Michael Proctor did not put Colin in any of the police reports. He was kept out of everything. And so that is why these interviews were conducted. This has nothing to do with internal affairs investigation. The internal affairs investigation didn't really start until, I'm going to say, like August of 2024, because Michael Proctor was suspended immediately following the acquittal. No, I'm sorry, the mistrial. That was 2024, after the text messages came out. And after he testified about them at trial. They waited until after the trial was over to suspend him. Notice. August of 2024 is when those recorded interviews were done with Tully and Fanning. And those were IA interviews. Those are audio only. These are video and audio. This was done by the Massachusetts State Police at the behest of Michael Marcy as a cover my ass sort of thing, specifically so that these interviews could be turned over to Karen Reed's defense team under what is called their Rule 14 obligation, which is automatic disclosure that they are required to disclose in every criminal case. Okay? Makes sense? These are not internal affairs interviews, but these interviews could be used if there ever was, which there was, an internal affairs investigation into Proctor and his conduct. Okay? All right. The interview that we did, that we watched, and I wanted to watch Courtney's first, because I watched Courtney's first, and I found it very interesting that she revealed during her interview, it was only about an hour long, that Julie Albert was her nanny for 9 years. For 9 years, Julie Albert watched her little children while she was at work 2 to 3 days a week. And I bet that was underestimated as well. They tried to play it off like, oh, she babysat for me. Like, yeah, she babysat for me every, month or so on date night. That's not what it was. Julie Albert was Courtney Proctor's nanny. I'm using the word nanny. They're never going to use the word nanny because nannies become a part of your family, right? Between 2013 and 2022. These interviews were done before the first trial. Before the first trial. So that they could turn them over and say, we investigated about whether Julie and Chris Albert had a relationship with Michael Proctor. Here you go. Here are the interviews. And remember, every single motion Karen Reed's team made to try and get the judge recused, the motion to dismiss based on the evidence presented to the grand jury, and Michael Proctor's failure to disclose his relationship with the Alberts at the grand jury. These were done all the way back in 2024. Shout out to Trial Files, which is the second channel of Trial Channel. She cut these up so that I did not have to download them from the FOIA request onto my computer. And I appreciate that. And my storage appreciates that. So if you go over and give Trial Files a like and a sub, that is where on YouTube, one of the places where these interviews live. If you did receive the FOIA dump, it's a whole lot of documents, but you have to download all the videos onto your computer. And you know as much as I do how much space they take up and how much storage they take up. All right, let me move this guy over here. I have not watched this. This is going to be a cold reaction with you. The only one I watched before I watched it with you was part of Courtney Proctor's, and I wanted to do that first because Courtney Proctor did admit that Julie was her babysitter 2 to 3 days a week for a 9-year period. Let's see if Julie admits that in the same way. Because she gave 3 interviews. Courtney's was on the 25th of March. So a week after Julie was first interviewed. Chris Albert, Julie's husband, was interviewed on the 19th. So the day after this interview, so after Julie did this interview, March 18th, 2024, I'm sure she went home and told Chris everything. So we're going to watch this together. We're going to stop. We're going to talk about it. You're going to give me your thoughts. I'm going to give you my thoughts. And you tell me if Turtle Boy has brainwashed people into thinking that other people were responsible for the murder of and the cover-up of the murder of John O'Keefe. You tell me if you watched Courtney's with me the other day, if Julie's downplaying everything. Yeah, I find it crazy too. None of them had attorneys with them. Yep. No spoilers, please. Thank you. I shouldn't have to say it, but I don't know. Some people like to break news, I guess. My understanding as far as what's happening right now with Lindsay Clancy's trial is 2 jurors have been picked. That's all I know. That's all I know. Or if you've made your own assessment on credibility and involvement in what is surely the murder of John O'Keefe, based on your observations, your trial watching, 2 trials, your reading of witness interviews and police reports and motions and watching motion hearings, or if you were just brainwashed into believing it by a journalist. I mean, I think you're all reasonable people that have reached your own conclusions, but, you know, that's just me. All right, let's start. Here's Julie Albert on the hot seat, March 18th, 2024, being interviewed by the Massachusetts State Police. Ironically, one of the captain's names is Captain Benson. And you know how much I love Captain Olivia Benson. She would have solved this case a lot faster than these mooks. But here we go. They're not charged with solving. They're just charged with interviewing and investigating the relationship between Michael Proctor and Chris and Julie Albert. Let's go.
Monday, March 18th, 2024, 3:46 p.m. Detective Captain Eric Benson, Massachusetts State Police, joined by
Captain George Barrios,
the Massachusetts State Police, and we're conducting an audio and video recording.
Okay, sorry to stop so soon, but if you're not looking at your screen, come back and look at your screen because we got a little FaceTime with Captain Benson and Captain Barrios, which we did not see in Courtney's interview because Courtney's was not until a week later. And just think to yourself, think, imagine if all of the original witness statements of all of these people on January 29th, 2022 and afterwards were videotaped. How different it would be, because they wouldn't be able to deny that they said things to Proctor and Proctor wrote it down wrong. And we could all judge for ourselves their credibility and the things that they were saying to Proctor. But even though they had the technology, they chose not to record any of the original witness interviews 2 years prior to this in the murder of a Boston police officer. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Mondays with Melanie. That's good. I like it, Laura. She looks like she would rather be anywhere but there. Anywhere. Yeah, Benson sounds like he actually cares about the truth in these interviews. I agree, Lisa. I agree. They were disclosed to Karen's team. Patriotic, before the trial in a notice of discovery that we looked at Friday before we talked about it. I pulled it up on the screen. They exchanged all of this before trial number 1. That's the exact reason they did these interviews. So they could say, we looked into the relationship, albeit more than 2 years after the murder, and only after the feds released all of their information. And, we really didn't think it was a big deal. Even though if you ask me, it's a really big deal. Anybody who's ever had a nanny watch your kids while you're at work knows that that nanny becomes part of your family. Let's go.
Detective Captain Eric Benson, Massachusetts State Police, joined by
Captain George Barrios,
the Massachusetts State Police, and we're conducting an audio and video recorded interview of, could you please say your name, ma'am?
Julie Albert.
The gum chewing is going to make me insane. She chews gum throughout. I'm going to guess through this entire interview. I don't know if she does it through all 3, but let's zoom in on her because she's ready for her close-up.
Okay. And what's your date of birth, ma'am? And what's your address?
All redacted, which I can understand. They're muted. It's not you and me. It's them.
All right. And what's the best phone number for you?
Redacted.
Okay. Any alternative phone numbers?
No.
Okay. All right. And just to rewind.
Oh, we also found out that Proctor has 4 phone numbers. We only knew about 2. The work one and the personal cell. He's got 4. We learned that during Chris Albert's interview. So somebody's got to request the other 2 phone number extractions. To sort of explain for the record how we got here. I called you, both you and your husband, on your cell phones early afternoon today, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And you didn't answer, neither you nor your husband, or just you, didn't answer my initial
Correct.
call.
Yep.
And you called back and I didn't answer.
Correct. And I left a message.
And you left the message.
Yeah.
And then I called you back and we finally connected. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And during that conversation, I introduced myself as a detective captain with the Massachusetts State Police.
Yes, you did.
And indicated that I had been assigned by the state police and at the request of the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office to, together with Captain Barrios, conduct an inquiry regarding the relationship of Trooper Michael Proctor with various witnesses in the John O'Keefe investigation. Is
Yes,
that
you did.
correct?
Yep.
Okay.
So there it is. They tell us exactly what it is. It has nothing to do with internal affairs. They were asked by the district attorney's office to investigate the relationships between certain witnesses and Michael Proctor. I think he had 2 burner phones is what I think.
And then asked you if you'd be willing to submit to a formal interview, a recorded interview regarding our inquiry.
Yes, you did.
And you indicated that you agreed to that.
Agreed to that. Yes, I did.
And then we discussed scheduling and timing.
Mm-hmm.
And we offered to come to your house. It was your preference that we do this somewhat removed from your house in the general Canton area.
Correct.
So I invited you to State Police General Headquarters,
Mm-hmm.
which is where we are right now. We're in a conference room that is outside of the Homeland Security Operations Center at State Police General Headquarters in Framingham. You indicated that you were going to leave your home shortly after our conversation and that you'd call me when you arrived,
Yes,
which is what you did.
I did.
Okay, and then we
Interesting how she didn't want to do this one at her house. The other wasn't the original one done at her house. Oh, my freeze game is so on point today. And it's also interesting how she can show up so quickly, right? I just called you last night. You're here today, right? But it takes them, well, I don't even know if they've been subpoenaed to be deposed in Karen Reed's case, but the others just can't seem to get there. Colin Albert, her son, Colin, joined the Army before his deposition during wartime, voluntarily.
we let you in the back door here and
Yep, and
a
here we are.
few steps away to this conference room.
Correct.
Does
Yes.
does that accurately reflect sort of our
Since we spoke-
the entirety of our interaction today?
Yes, it does.
Prior
Yes.
to turning on this.
Yes, it does. Yep.
And then right before we turned on the tape, we asked if you had any questions prior to starting,
Correct.
and you had
I
none.
said no.
Okay. And just for the record, have we ever met?
That is right. Thank you, Disney, for reminding me that Julie Albert is the one who just no-showed her deposition. You're right. You're right. They did have one scheduled for her. She just didn't show up. She was subpoenaed. She just didn't show up. See what happened to Mandy Matney, who didn't show up for her deposition in the Low Country of South Carolina and as a non-party in the Mallory Beach's parents versus Parker's civil conspiracy case. She was just fined $176,000 in attorney's fees. Will there be ramifications for Julie Albert? Probably not. She just didn't show up.
No, I have never seen either of you in my life.
Okay. And for the record, I don't believe that I have ever met Miss Albert. Captain Barrios.
I have never met Julie before.
Okay. All right. With that, do you have any questions before we get into sort of our list of questions that we compiled?
Not that I can think of offhand, no.
Okay.
Nope.
All right. Do you know Trooper Michael Proctor?
I do.
You do.
Yes.
And how do you know him?
Okay. My sister, her name is Jillian.
Okay. She knows this is coming, right? Somebody tipped her off as to what they were going to ask. She's got the whole story already prepared, right? It's already prepared.
My sister.
Here we go. She's like,
How
here
do
we
you
go.
know him?
Okay. My sister, her name is Jillian Daniels, which is my maiden name, has been friends, very, very close friends with Michael's sister, Courtney, maiden name Proctor, current name Elberg, B-U-R-G, I'm sorry. Since I want to say they were in 6th grade. And I am almost 5 years older than the both of them. So, they started being friends when they were in middle school, and they've continued their friendship through high school, through college, through, life. And they're still friends to this day. And basically, Michael's sister Courtney became, she was always around. She was one of my sister's best friends. She is one of my sister's best friends, and she's just always been around. And that's how I formed a relationship with her, obviously, because, your little siblings, friends, you're usually friendly with.
Sure.
And that's just basically how, and obviously Michael is Courtney's brother.
Mhm.
And that's
And
basically.
Jillian lives in the area?
Jillian lives in Canton as well. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So there's
Yep.
a lot of opportunity for everybody to
Interaction. Yep.
get
Yep.
together and
Yep.
interact. Okay. And prior to, all right. So you know Michael through his sister and
Correct.
through your sister.
Through my sister because of his sister,
Right.
basically. Yeah. I mean, I know it's kind of, botchy. I mean, it's hard to whatever, but yeah, that's basically, yeah. Yep.
How long would you say you've
It's hard to whatever. She got a lot of him. It was hard to, whatever, get a grasp on it. But I mean, like my sister Jillian and Courtney are besties. They were besties in 6th grade. They still are. And like, that's her brother. So, it's kind of hard to like no, it's not hard at all. It's not hard to get a grasp on it at all. Why didn't you start with, I've been Courtney's nanny for 9 years. How about that? She buried the lead here.
known them for?
Whatever, but yeah, I know it's kind of, botchy. I mean, it's hard to whatever, but yeah, that's basically, yeah. Yep.
How long would you say you've known them for?
I have known of Courtney. I mean, and when you're going back to middle school, it's a little different,
Right.
like the kids, you have to plan like, if I drive, if my mom drives, your mom picks up, that kind of thing. So it wasn't like Courtney was a constant presence then. But when you
Right.
fast forward to high school and,
Sure.
everyone's always around. But as for Michael, how long would I know him? I mean, I don't even know Michael's exact age. He's younger than Courtney.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't recall Michael at all when he was in high school. I don't recall him at all when Courtney was in middle school.
The question is, how long have you known Michael Proctor? And she goes off on like a fairy tale of it was a very simple question. How long have you known him? But her answers are so long that it makes you forget the question. And that's what she's trying to do.
Because, like I said, he's younger than Courtney.
Who cares?
I couldn't even, well out of high school, probably out of college too. I mean, I would think.
So you've known of Courtney
Of Courtney, yep.
since she was in the 6th grade.
Since middle school, yeah. I would say sixth or 7th grade. Yeah. I can't tell you exactly the second her and my sister,
Right.
the friendship group formed. I
Right.
can't tell you exactly because it was my sister's friend.
And
group,
Michael
not
is
mine.
even younger.
Yeah.
So your interaction, what was your interaction with him like when you were young? You said you
I
don't
didn't have
recall
one.
him at all.
I didn't even, I mean, I probably knew that Courtney had a brother, but
Yeah.
back then, like, I was almost 5 years older. So
Right.
they were my sister and Courtney were, they were annoying to me. You know what I mean? It's like they were my
Sure.
younger siblings' friends. But, as my sister and Courtney grew up, everyone grows up and you
Mhm.
mature and, but I mean, honestly,
Everyone grows up. Wait, what? Really? Everyone grows up. Listen, these investigators would not learn that Julie's son, Colin, was Courtney's little buddy who had anxiety since he was a child until 1 week after this interview. That's how Courtney described it. That once in a while she and Jillian would babysit for Julie's kids, and she had a soft spot for Colin. He had a lot of anxiety as a child, she told us. And Colin was like her little buddy. Let's see if Julie will tell us that.
I would say, when they were out of high school, that would make Michael still in never, I wouldn't even have known him when he was in high school. I mean, we just wouldn't have crossed paths.
Right.
Like, I'm just a lot older.
Okay.
How about the past?
You know,
How about the past 9 years when you were Courtney's nanny? Did you know Michael then? Because you were going to his parents' house, Michael Proctor's parents' house, and Courtney's house for Thanksgiving. And Michael Proctor, you guys all had Thanksgiving together. But she's trying to take it back all the way to high school and middle school when Michael Proctor was 5 years younger. So I didn't really know him then. Well, how about now? Isn't now what counts? Isn't now the thing that might make Michael Proctor want to, I don't know, help out his sister's little buddy who happens to be your son?
Trooper Proctor's wife at all?
Wait.
Do you know Trooper Proctor's wife at all?
Yes, I do. I know Elizabeth, yes. I do not know her well. Yeah, I mean, I know if I saw her, I would say hello. I've probably been in the same place with Elizabeth 5 times, maybe. I mean, maybe. But I don't know her. I don't know her well. We don't have she's a nice girl, but we don't have a relationship. I wouldn't.
Did you know her prior to, when's the first time you'd say you met?
I met Elizabeth.
Forget it. This will be a days-long answer as well. You'd say she's the nice girl. That's so funny because the next day your husband would say in his interview that he didn't want them looking through his phone because he might have said one time Michael Proctor's a dick. So you think his wife's a nice girl. Remember, Elizabeth Proctor is also a alleged victim of Aiden Carney. He's got charges for Elizabeth Proctor. And remember also that Elizabeth Proctor did call people's jobs and try to get them fired. I don't know if she got anybody fired, but she did call people's place of employment who said mean things about Michael Proctor on Facebook and tried to get them fired. At least you think that Elizabeth is a nice girl. Okay, when's the first time you'd say you met Elizabeth?
Oh God. Maybe when they were engaged, her and Michael were engaged at one point, yeah, probably when they were engaged, I would say. And I
pointed this out the other day too, and just watch it because I want you to come to the screen if you can, if you're not driving or, on scaffolding. If you can safely do so, come to the screen because look how uncomfortable she gets when all we can hear is the Captain Benson's pencil writing lots and lots and lots of notes. And he's writing so much stuff down that she now feels like she needs to interrupt him and add more because she's very uncomfortable that he's writing a lot of stuff down. Because I think in her mind, she's thinking, oh no, he's taking so many notes right now. I probably said the wrong thing, right? Watch this.
They were engaged, I would say.
She's watching him writing.
And I couldn't even honestly tell you when that was.
Honestly.
Okay.
Smirk. It's not an attorney. It is a captain. He's a captain with the Massachusetts State Police, just so that everyone knows what's happening here. It's not an attorney that's questioning her. Captain Benson with the MSP. And she's very uncomfortable. Anytime somebody keeps saying, honestly, to be honest with you, honestly, they're about to tell you something that's not true. I mean, I'm not a linguistics expert or a body language expert, but I think we all know. I watched Sergio De Niro.
Okay. How often do you communicate with Courtney?
It depends. Her kids are younger. My kids are older. I have a lot more, I guess, freedom now that she has because my kids are grown up, basically. My youngest is 16 and a half. My oldest is 25. Her kids are still in elementary school. So, I mean, it goes in spurts. Sometimes I'll talk to her a couple times a week. Sometimes I won't talk to her for 2 or 3 weeks. Sometimes I won't talk to her for a month. Sometimes it just honestly depends.
At no point is she mentioning, I was her nanny for 9 years, and I kind of stopped being her nanny this past September when her youngest went off to elementary school, right? Or kindergarten, as Courtney said. Because remember, this is March, and Courtney's last child just went to full-time school in September. How often do you communicate? It depends. It depends. Is she gonna let it drop that she's the nanny? No spoilers. Or are they going to have to ask her about it? Because they don't know yet because they didn't interview Courtney yet. She's the first.
On life.
Depends on life. So
And how long has that been going on? Because obviously your relationship with Courtney started with, she was your sister's friend.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
she continues to be your sister's
Oh, God,
friend.
yeah. Yep.
And so over time, how did that dynamic work? Was it a situation where you're close to your sister and
I'm very, very close with my sister. Yes, my sister is my best friend. And so I'm very close with my sister. And then it got to the point, like, you know, when my sister and Courtney say they went out to, you know, for a drink or to went out and they invited me to go along.
Sure.
Or if I went out somewhere for a drink and I invited my sister, oh, you want to come? And she's like, oh, do you care if a couple of my friends come? You know, just like that. It's,
Sure.
and then so when Courtney was in college, I don't recall being that, like, you know, I would see her occasionally when everyone would come home for college and that kind of thing. But it was more so after when Courtney graduated from college. And, you know, she met her now husband. And, you know, things, they started dating and they were serious. And then I started having my children. And that's kind of more so too, because I had my oldest, you know, I was 22 when I had my oldest, then I had my second son, and I was the only friend sister that had kids. So, you know, the kid that my sister would babysit. So her friends would occasionally come babysit, or they would come over and visit the kids, or if I had a new baby, or, you know, what that was.
Sure.
But so basically I would say I'm bad with years, but, you know, past when Courtney was like in college.
Okay.
So, you know, later, I would say after college, after they graduated from college. And, you know, we all became friendlier because.
Does anybody remember the question? How about the fact that you were going to Courtney's house at least 3 days a week for the last 9 years to babysit her children? And we know Courtney works in a school because they tried to bring it up during, I don't forget which trial, that Mr. Yannetti was trying to intimidate Courtney by showing up in the parking lot of her school when he was just there to meet Lucky and had no idea that Courtney worked there. So how about every single day that you showed up at her house around 7 a.m. until, you know, Courtney was done with her school day, which I don't even know what time that is, 3, 4, 5 o'clock. But it's all about having a drink, you know, going out for a drink, you know, if they would invite me for a drink. And when we were younger, and I don't even remember the question at this point.
I didn't look at them anymore like they were the little, you know, the little annoying
Sure. They're more,
sister and friends. They're more, we're all, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yep.
So after Courtney graduated from college, you eventually became, you know, closer. So
Wasn't the question how often do you communicate with Courtney? Wasn't that the question? Because I think that's what the question was. But I can't stand her word salad long enough to even go back and rewind it. I don't think she remembers the question either. Right. She got a running dialogue in her head. How do I get out of here? She's trying to distract them from the question too, so she doesn't have to answer it. That's what it sounds like to me. Right? How long has this been going on? That absolutely is on the playlist.
Closer, but not like closer, but not like super. But then when things started, like when Courtney met her, like I said, her now husband, and then, you know, they got engaged, and, you know, then that stuff, and I had my kids, and,
Sure.
you know, that then we became closer.
and you started to talk to her directly as opposed to like, you know, kind of through your
Through my
sister
sister.
and
Yep,
stuff like that.
absolutely. Yep.
Okay. And Courtney, how do you usually communicate with her? Is it in person, Facebook, social media, voice calls, text, all the above?
I'm not, you know, text, voice call, you know, yeah, a little bit of that. I mean, as in social media, as if, you know, you like a picture, if that.
No. Like when you talk to Courtney, do you pick up the phone and call her on the phone? Do you text her? Do you send her messages through Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp? We're not talking about you liking a Facebook picture. Is that what you really think you're here for? Because you liked one of Courtney's Facebook pictures? Is that what you think they have against you? Yep. She's trying to finish his sentences. She cuts in before he's even done so she can answer the question that she wants to.
That's what you guys call it,
Communicate with her? Is it in person, Facebook, social media?
How do you usually communicate with her? That's a very simple answer. In person, Facebook, social media, text, phone call.
Voice calls, text, all the above?
I'm not, text, voice call, a little bit of that. I mean, as in social media, as if, you like a picture, if that's what you guys
A picture?
consider, social media, then yeah, of course, like if she put up a picture of her kid, I'm gonna like, oh, that's cute, or possibly comment on it depending on my mood, or possibly press that like button. Same with Instagram, like that. So yes, I am connected to her on social media. Yes.
How do you communicate with her? What is your mode of communication, ma'am? The patience that this Massachusetts State Police Captain Benson has for her, I would be losing my mind. If you like a picture. Answer the question. This is what I tell my clients before a deposition, okay? If the answer is yes or no, the answer is yes or no. That's it. Don't volunteer any information. The answer is yes or no. I've had to kick many of them under the table to stop talking. Stop talking. Yes or no. If they give you a choice of things and it's one of those things, pick the thing. Say, I don't recall. I don't recall is better than I don't remember, because if you say I don't recall, you can always recall later. But if you say I don't remember, that means you don't remember and you never will. See the difference? But the way she's volunteering so much information is going to be so helpful to Karen Reed's civil cases and Aidan Carney's defense right now of the defamation case.
As for, and we text and, just the average communication in 2024, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. How about Trooper Proctor's wife, Elizabeth? Do you communicate with her
Never.
directly?
Never.
Usually also when someone says never, they're like overly never, when it really isn't never. Her and Courtney had like 60 phone calls or something like that, 76 phone calls the week after the indictment, or I forget in which time period it was, Mrs. Jim Marson. But you're correct. She's like, yeah, whatever.
So no Facebook, you're not Facebook friends with her?
So I was Facebook friends with her, yes. So I guess, okay, so we'll back up. Yes, on Facebook, we're Facebook friends, yes. I haven't been on Facebook for some time.
Okay.
But like on Instagram, like, yes, in that way, yes, but not text, not voice, not that way.
So social media, yes. But not by phone.
Correct, yes.
But not by phone? Like I just said, didn't they discover like 60 or 70 like phone calls back and forth to each other? Am I thinking of something else? Are we thinking of something else here? We used to be Facebook friends. Did you unfriend her when it became public that the defense was alleging there was a close relationship between Michael Proctor and the Alberts, that his mother posted on Facebook that the Alberts were like their second family? Did you then all of a sudden unfriend Courtney? Is she mad about it? Courtney said, whenever something would go wrong with the kids, I would call Julie because Julie knows how to do it. If somebody was sick, I would call Julie. My mother's not really good with that kind of stuff. Anytime I needed advice about kid raising, I would call Julie. I would call Julie. I would call Julie. I would call Julie. And ask yourselves, is this an attempt to keep protecting Colin? Is this an attempt to like make this case keep going to make sure that Karen Reed is convicted? What's the motivation here? Why can't you answer this? If you're innocent and you have nothing to hide on behalf of your family or your friends or anybody else, why are you being so shady and so sketch? The question was about Proctor's wife, not Courtney. About how she communicates on social media. Oh yeah, this one is. Okay, this one is. You're right. Now he's on to Wait. Trooper Proctor's wife. Okay, so she actually was. See, I get so confused because her answers are so long. Thank you for correcting me. So she was friends with Elizabeth Proctor on Facebook. That's even worse. You would expect her to be friends with Courtney because that was her nanny, or she was their nanny. She was friends with Elizabeth Proctor on Facebook. Wow. When did she unfriend her? I would love to know the answer to that question.
Trooper Proctor's wife, Elizabeth. Do you communicate with her a
Never.
lot directly?
Never.
Never.
So no Facebook. You're not Facebook friends with her.
So I was Facebook friends with her, yes. So I guess, okay, so we'll back up. Yes, on Facebook, we're Facebook friends, yes. I haven't been on Facebook for some time.
Okay.
But like on Instagram, like, yes, in that way, yes, but not text, not voice, not with that, not that way.
So
This is something that Aiden Carney can totally use in the defamation case, because remember when Judge Gilday was like, oh, like he was the ring bearer at their wedding, like big deal. His mother is Facebook friends with Trooper Proctor's wife. Going back, who knows, because she was, but by 2024, she wasn't anymore. They need to dig into that. This is Colin Albert's mother. Because Gilday did not seem impressed about Colin being the ring bearer. He didn't think it was a big deal at Courtney Proctor's wedding. Right? Yes, but no, but yes, but not like that. Exactly.
social media, yes,
Yes.
but not by phone.
Correct, yes.
And phone would include like messaging apps like WhatsApp and
No.
stuff like that, like nothing like that. Okay.
Nope,
And how about Trooper Proctor?
no. Social media as in, I believe, and I would honestly have to check, possibly Instagram,
Okay.
but not what those the kids do on that, like not message, just the simple Instagram app.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be it.
Okay. And so
Has anybody ever located Michael Proctor's Instagram account? Because Julie Albert followed Michael Proctor on Instagram. Does anybody else think that this is inappropriate, that Michael Proctor was hand-selected to lead this investigation, even though he wasn't supposed to be on call exactly at that time, maybe? Handpicked? Look at her face now. Wow.
do you communicate with him by phone at all?
No.
Not by phone. Okay.
That's so funny too, because Courtney will testify 1 week later. I mean, in her interview, she will say that Michael Proctor, her brother, asked Courtney for Julie's phone number because he had to call Julie to interview her. So you kind of did talk to him at least by phone when he called you to schedule your original police interview, something like February 10th of 2022. But she doesn't even want to admit that. No, Instagram has like a direct message system, but I don't think Threads is that. And I don't think Threads was around back then. I could be wrong. I don't know. But Instagram does have like a DM feature, but it's like stuff gets lost in there like a black hole. It's got like 5 different, it's not friendly if a lot of people are trying to communicate with her. But these two, who knows? Maybe somebody should get a hold of Michael Proctor's Instagram messages.
Have you ever socialized with Trooper Proctor, Trooper Proctor's wife, Elizabeth, or Trooper Proctor's sister, Courtney?
Have I ever socialized?
Yeah, socialized with them and been in the same place at the same time.
Absolutely, yeah.
With all three?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's start with Trooper Proctor's sister, with Courtney.
With Courtney, where
Like
to,
how often? Quite often, from what you explained, right?
I mean, I wouldn't say quite lately, not quite, like, not really that quite often.
Okay.
Like I said, life just gets in the way, but The only Courtney, like, you know, the kids, her kids, my kids, she loved my kids, her kids are wonderful, you know, things like that. But with Michael and Elizabeth, the only way I have ever ran into Michael and Elizabeth in a social situation is if I've gone by Courtney's house or if I've gone by Mr. and Mrs. Proctor's house, Courtney's parents' home.
Oh, so you were also hanging out at Michael Proctor's parents' home. Notice how she still doesn't answer or still doesn't say, Courtney was my nanny for 9 years. And so I would socialize her every single day or 3 days a week that she came to watch my kids full time. Is that not considered socializing, or did you just consider her an employee? Because she still hasn't brought that up. And she's had a lot of opportunities to do it, right? He's asked the same question a number of different times, and she's still not admitting that she was the nanny. Yeah, you know, our kids, they liked each other. I liked her kids. She liked my kids. Never the depth of that relationship where the nanny becomes like part of your family.
Courtney and Michael's parents.
So Michael and Elizabeth, the only times
I've socialized with them is in I should say in a Proctor family setting. But that's a good way to explain it.
but
So you were involved in Proctor family settings. How did they ever go ahead with the persecution of Karen Reed after Michael Marcy knew all of this? Remember, Judge Cannoni did not let them talk about this stuff. The defense had these interviews before trial number 1, and they were not allowed to use them. In a Proctor family setting, that would be a good way to describe it. Yeah, we went over Courtney's interview on Friday. Wow. Proctor family setting, including Thanksgiving, by the way.
Courtney's house or
Mr. and Mrs. Proctor's house, which is not existent anymore because they sold it a year ago.
Don't worry, they wouldn't have searched it anyway. Look at her looking up at the Lord. She's looking up at the Lord in heaven like, Lord, please save me. Oh, tiny baby Jesus, please get me out of here right now. Who cares that they lived in Randolph, which, by the way, is what Michael Proctor said, that where he was going to drive with an N-word tied to his bumper through the streets of Randolph. Don't worry, they're not going to search your house anyway. She's looking up at the heavens for guidance, but they're not going to give it to him. Tiny baby Jesus and Tiny Mary are not going to save her now. Nothing's going to save her now.
okay.
And
Okay. And so, and how often would that be? How many times total?
Courtney's house, I mean, Courtney herself.
Yeah, Courtney herself is quite very often.
Yeah,
You're very good
yeah,
friends with her.
I wouldn't say, I'm very friendly with her, yes. I wouldn't say.
You wouldn't say that you were very friendly with the woman you worked for 9 years? You were at her house 3 times a week, entrusted with the care of her children? I wouldn't say I'm super close to her. This is insane. She will not admit that she was like family, that they are like second family. What is she hiding? I wouldn't say like super friendly. Really? She looked to you for advice for everything.
Yeah, I wouldn't say, I'm very friendly with her, yes. I wouldn't say like super, super often, but Michael and Elizabeth, I would say, honestly, maybe 6 times at most, maybe.
And what were those times?
I remember, I'm trying to think, one Thanksgiving, I couldn't tell you, I just have distinct things in my head. One Thanksgiving, I know after my family's Thanksgiving, we stopped by there on the way home because it was
Stopped by where?
Courtney's, because it was Courtney's son's birthday. We stopped by there. They were having a cake. Another time could have been
On Thanksgiving, you're stopping by their house. That's how close you are. Or did you just go for the cake? Because you were their nanny. These people are having Thanksgiving together, and the judge Cannoni shut it down. Not allowed to get into it. Didn't find that the case should be dismissed because Michael Proctor failed to disclose his close family ties with these people, that he was the lead investigator on. This is excellent for Karen's civil case.
I was at Courtney's, when Courtney was pregnant with her second child. Courtney had a kind of gender reveal cookout at her parents' house. And I don't recall if both Michael and Elizabeth were there. I don't recall if Elizabeth was there, but I know that Michael would have been there. It was his sister.
Julie was Courtney's nanny. Isn't that what I said? Julie was Courtney's nanny. Right. So she went for the kid's birthday because she was the nanny. Again, maybe in all honesty, cookout here and there. Michael's at the Thanksgiving. Michael's at the kids' birthday parties. Michael's everywhere. She's trying to minimize it. She never thought this interview would see the light of day. She thought this was going to be a private interview that she was just giving to the Massachusetts State Police because Michael Marcy asked for it. So he could say he looked into it 6 months after his hostage video. I don't think she ever babysat for Michael and Elizabeth. I think they were in talks, but I don't think it ever really happened.
Honestly, maybe a cookout here and there at Mr. and Mrs. Proctor's home. They had a pool. I know in the summer, they love to host, and they would have people at their house for cookouts, family cookouts.
Yeah.
And
Michael's part of the family.
That really is the extent I've, outside of a Proctor like cookout or gender reveal. Maybe Courtney had an engagement party at her parents' house. I can't tell you how many years ago. Outside of that, I've never been in a social setting with Michael and Elizabeth.
Except for the fact that your son was the ring bearer at their wedding. Did you not go to the wedding? Were you not invited to the wedding? Did they just allow your son Colin to be a ring bearer at Courtney's wedding? But you weren't. You just, the most important piece, the piece that has been public, that the defense has been screaming about in court hearings. That is the one thing she does not mention at all. Just cookouts, Thanksgiving, kid's birthday, gender reveal parties, engagement. Doesn't even mention the wedding.
Like never at a bar, never at, except, I'm sorry, take that back, social setting, at Courtney's wedding.
Oh, there we go.
I was. Courtney and her husband's actual wedding. But other than that, we've never, had a planned night out that we all go out together. We've never had, we'll meet at the bar or will this, none of that ever.
All right. And when approximately, when were all of these? Are these all recent, or are these all over what period of time are we talking about these 6 total times?
Couldn't even, so I'm trying to remember my best date wise. Yeah. So Courtney's son is, we'll put it into perspective here. For one of them, Courtney's son is 7.
Okay.
Her daughter is 10 or 11. So if that's enough. So if her daughter, it was a birthday party for her daughter, like that. Mm-hmm. So her daughter's 10, put it that way.
Okay.
Courtney's been married since years,
since prior to the birth of their first child, or?
Oh yes. Yep.
So more than.
So we're talking.
years?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I think it was 20. Why do I want to say 2012? Yeah, maybe 2012, 2013, possibly.
2012 area.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this isn't exact. I'm just trying to give you the best. This isn't exact down to the perfect, but I'm just trying to do the best I can remember.
No, and that's all that we ask.
Yeah.
Still no mention of her being Courtney's nanny. Still no mention of that. I'm just trying to maybe not exactly perfect, but give you all the information that you want, except for that part. 9 years.
When is the last time that you were in a social setting with Michael and Elizabeth Proctor?
Gosh, Michael, I honest to God, I don't, a social setting? Like
Yes.
as in,
well,
are you talking like in the same room?
I'm
Or-
talking about in the same room, in the same setting. Yes, like the same general room or area, at the same event.
So I'm just making myself clear here. Are we talking an event or are we talking a conference room?
We're talking everything. We're talking events and smaller settings. But if you could just indicate which is which.
An event. I would say, oh my God, maybe possibly like COVID-y time, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe that could have been the Thanksgiving, where we popped over after our my family Thanksgiving. And then I don't even recall honestly if Elizabeth was there, because I have been at times at Mr. and Mrs. Proctor's over the years that Elizabeth wasn't, or she had something going on. And there was not many times, but that she would have, like I saw her maybe there with the kids that I would have to really think about, and he wouldn't be there.
Okay.
So, and as for the both of them together, probably 8 to 10 months ago, which would have been at D.A. Morrissey's office.
At D.A. Morrissey's office. After the murder of John O'Keefe is when you saw Elizabeth. Okay. COVID-y.
At whose office?
Morrissey.
Morrissey's? Okay. I see.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm just laying it out that that's the last,
And what was that meeting for?
Just to discuss what was going on. And I don't even, to be honest with you, I don't even recall, Michael wasn't in the actual room.
To be honest with you.
Elizabeth was, and Michael wasn't.
Okay. So the last time that you were in a I guess a social setting, or really any setting with both of them, is a Thanksgiving that's perhaps around COVID?
Yes. No, I know pretty much it was around, because I couldn't, I know it was COVID time, because we spent it with people we normally wouldn't have Thanksgiving with, because some people weren't having Thanksgiving and
Sure.
Yep.
So they didn't really care about social distancing. They were all for having a big giant party where everyone could get drunk together, despite I don't know what restrictions there would have been around that time, but who cares? Because the rules don't apply to them anyway. I just want to remind everyone, let's go back to this, okay? This is the original witness statement of Chris and Julie Albert. Their interviews were done at their home on February 10th, 2022. So after she wanted to get him a gift, remember that was February 1st. On February 10th, it says Sergeant Yuri Buchanan on it. Buchanan is the one who drafted this. He didn't type it up till February 21st, but it's to Brian Tully from Yuri Buchanan regarding the interviews of Julie and Chris Albert at their house in Canton, or where they used to live. And here's what it reads. The most important part that I want to read to you. On February 10th, 2022, at approximately 5:30 p.m., Trooper Proctor and I proceeded to 22 Blank Street in order to conduct a pre-scheduled interview of Chris and Julie Albert at their residence. Both Chris and Julie Albert, both Julie and Chris were present at the Waterfall Bar and Grill the night of January 28th of 2022. Listen to this next part. And then followed to Brian Albert's home in the early morning hours of January 29th of 2022. Yuri Buchanan wrote this, and that's what he said they told him, that after the waterfall, they followed to Brian Albert's home in the early morning hours of January 29th, 2022. Many of you may not have ever seen this. Their story has since morphed. She said she got a migraine and went home. Chris said he just walked home from the waterfall. Okay. This is their original witness statement. They say they never said that and they were never there. But isn't your memory better, closer in time to an event than after an event? It's a rhetorical question. They were in Marcy's office because they wanted to indict Aiden Carney on witness intimidation charges. That probably was around the 6 months before this interview period. Okay, let's go back to her interview. I just wanted you to know, in case you didn't know, that was what their original statement said from February 10th of 2022. Yeah, it is such a shame that wasn't recorded, isn't it? Such a shame that they didn't record that interview so that we could compare and contrast. All of the paranormal activity that went on during that time period in Canton is wild.
Yep.
Okay. And since the death of John O'Keefe, have you, aside from this meeting at the DA's office, have you socialized with or been in any setting together with Michael or Elizabeth Proctor or Elizabeth?
Since John died?
Yes.
No, I have not.
John died.
No.
Uh-oh. He's writing too much. He's getting nervous.
Okay. We've covered a lot of this earlier, but you indicated that you have been to a wedding and to some parties and social events where Michael Proctor and Elizabeth were present.
Mm-hmm.
What was your level of interaction with them at these events? Like at these 6 events that you referenced, the most recent being Thanksgiving, what do you talk to them extensively, or what is the nature of your interaction during these 6
Just
events?
honestly, everyone's in between the kitchen, the living room, the family room, and there's other family of theirs as well, not just them and me. And just small talk. They have small children, which means that their life is, if you have small children opposed to someone like me who would have had kids that were 4 years ago, like say 12, I can just sit and relax. They can't do so much. Just small talk, nothing crazy, just small talk.
Do you speak to them a lot at these parties, or is it a situation where it's like you're old friends and you talk a lot and people who are looking at you are going to say, well, they're catching up? Or is it a situation where...
No. Oh, hey, what's going on? How you doing? Oh, the baby's so cute. Or, oh my God, he's getting so big. And then, on to talk with Mrs. Proctor, or on to sit with my son, or on to say hello to...
Sounds like she's very close to Michael Proctor's mother. Does anybody else think this is a problem? Anybody else wonder why Michael Proctor was handpicked to lead the investigation into the murder of John O'Keefe? Anybody?
Oh, to go get a glass of wine. No, just small talk. Hey, what's up? It's not like when I go in, it's like you'd be sitting catching up with your long lost best friend.
Right. Okay. So nobody who was there could reasonably, in your opinion, get the impression that you had a close relationship.
No, absolutely not.
So it was just small talk and brief catching up.
Yeah, just like you'd say with an acquaintance.
And was it more with Michael, more with Elizabeth, or both equal?
I would 100% equal. Like 100, like
100%.
just like I said, like if I went into the room and sat down, and Elizabeth happened to be sitting next to me, we'd talk. Oh, is the baby sleeping at night? Or oh, is this just small talk? Mm-hmm. Or if Michael was standing in the kitchen. Oh, how's it going? How's just total small talk.
Okay. Have you ever been to Michael and Elizabeth Proctor's home?
One time. I can't even tell you when it was. I would honestly say I can't. I know it was pre-COVID. I just know that because I just remember certain things.
Oh,
And I have my son with me, my youngest son, and I just have little bits and pieces,
bits and bytes.
And,
but I can't
and
even.
who do you know why you went or who you interacted with there? Or?
I want to say Courtney was there as well. I really honestly can't remember, but I know Courtney and Elizabeth, but definitely Michael wasn't. Mr. and Mrs. Proctor, who were over there often, obviously their grandparents, they were not. I honestly don't remember,
Okay.
but I know.
But you're confident it was on?
One occasion only, and it was pre-COVID, I remember that.
Do you remember if there was an event or anything, stick out about that?
I honestly, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
I would submit to you that one time is too many. And she doesn't even remember why. Honestly. I can't find the second pages of the witness statement right now because it's on my other device. But do you remember when Michael Proctor said to somebody after formal introductions during the witness statement, does anybody know for a fact, only if you know for a fact, whether that was Chris and Julie's witness statement that Michael Proctor said after formal introductions, we started, the interview. She's been to his house. Honestly.
Okay. Has any other member of your family, immediate family, ever been to Michael and Elizabeth Proctor's home?
Any other member of my immediate family, no. Except when I went by, I remember I had my son with me.
Okay.
He was, aside from, no.
And was young at that time.
Young, yes, I want to say, he was 12 or younger.
Colin?
Maybe?
Okay. But your husband's never been there?
No,
as far
not
as
to
you
my
know.
knowledge, no.
Okay. And none of your other children?
Nope, none of my other children,
Okay.
absolutely not.
Have you or any member of your immediate family ever babysat for Michael and Elizabeth Proctor's children?
I'm trying to honestly think back. I may have
Notice how she's already got an answer prepared for this question? She can't remember if she ever went to Michael Proctor's house, except she does remember it was pre-COVID, and she doesn't remember why. But she knew this question was coming about babysitting for Michael and Elizabeth Proctor. How did she know this was coming? And why does she already have that answer prepared?
Michael and Elizabeth, member of your immediate family ever babysat for Michael and Elizabeth Proctor's children?
I'm trying to honestly think back. I may have very briefly years ago I'm trying to think if it was that time, but other than that time, no.
Remember this, okay? We learned during the other interviews that at the time of John O'Keefe's murder, Elizabeth Proctor thought she should get a trophy because she was home for 3 days alone with her newborn and 2-year-old, okay? This interview is in 2024. So 2022, the earliest it could have been was 2018 when they had a newborn only one child. So it's not that long ago, right? Was it before or after the murder of John O'Keefe? So she maybe did babysit for them. She's going to be able to narrow it down years ago. This is 2024. John O'Keefe was murdered 2 years prior. Their first child was born, I'm going to say 2 years before that. Do they know that Michael Proctor's a friendly and they really need to keep him on this case? I mean, come on. So obvious.
Very briefly, honestly think back. I may have very briefly years ago I'm trying to think if it was that time, But other than that time, no. I'm just thinking in my head, but other than that time, I'm just trying to think back. And I'm having a hard time remembering, honestly.
So it could have been more than one time.
And at that point, I remember Elizabeth and Michael only had their oldest son at that point. Because I remember he was sitting in a high chair. And
Oh, well, that's interesting. So he was maybe like a year old. So it was before the murder of John O'Keefe that you babysat for Michael and Elizabeth Proctor's kids. She's telling us everything, and we don't even know it. Because Michael Proctor said she never babysat for his kids, that they were in talks about it because, Elizabeth was going back to work. And Courtney told us that they were kind of screwed because their babysitter or nanny kind of screwed them and said she couldn't work for them anymore. And so she suggested maybe Julie could do it. But Julie had already babysat for Michael Proctor before the murder of John O'Keefe. Is anybody else picking up what I'm laying down here? They tried to brush it off at the trial like, no, we were just in talks about it, but I never did. She's telling us when they only had one kid. So keep this in mind. Elizabeth had a newborn when John O'Keefe was murdered. So it was before the murder of John O'Keefe. And that is when Julie absolutely did babysit for them. Maybe once, I'm not quite sure, honestly.
oldest son at that point. Because I remember he was sitting in a high chair. And I want to say he was maybe even a year old.
So right before the murder of John O'Keefe.
That's why I know it was a long time ago.
And how was that their youngest son, you said? Or
No, they have two boys, and they're old. No, this was their oldest.
Oldest, okay.
Yes. And he is now, I wouldn't even, 6, 5, 6, either 5 or 6. Some
Was this at your house or their home?
That was the time I was at their home. Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And I know for a fact that was the only time I was ever at their home.
Right. Before
but you don't
murder.
I'm just thinking back, when I went over there, if Courtney was possibly babysit, I don't remember. I remember, but I don't remember.
Okay. Okay. And the best of your knowledge, your husband has never babysat their children.
But Michael's children?
Yes.
No.
And any of your children? Have any of your children babysat?
Oh, no.
Michael?
No.
Okay.
I got a question.
Yes, of course.
the way she answered that was kind of like, Chris doesn't even babysit his own children. My boys would never babysit for anyone. Bang, bang.
When you went over there to babysit their kid,
I'm not.
You're not positive.
Yeah.
But you
I
do
remember going
over
over there. I said that, yes, that one time
Yeah.
I went over there years and years ago. And I don't recall. I don't know if Courtney was there and I don't recall.
You remember what brought you or led you there, how that communication evolved, began, or how it came about?
I really don't. Like I said, we're going this is years ago. I really don't. I don't. No.
Okay.
Do you have any text messages with Michael or Elizabeth Proctor that might refresh your recollection about when exactly it was that you babysat for their one child?
Were you or any member of your immediate family ever asked to babysit Michael and Elizabeth Proctor's children?
I recall Courtney asking, like I said, it's very, 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 very fuzzy. I remember one time going back to that, something about Elizabeth. It's fuzzy. I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
It's very fuzzy.
More recently,
I'm not going to lie. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. Honestly, to tell you the truth, honestly, I'm not going to lie. Proceeds to lie.
around the time of John O'Keefe's death, do you recall a time when you were asked if you may be available to babysit?
No.
Or
No.
you don't recall
No.
ever being asked by
I don't.
Courtney or anyone else?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. And I know for a fact I didn't. And no, I don't.
Okay.
No, not around the time. No.
It's all fuzzy, except for the exact time that Colin got home that night. It's all fuzzy, except for that. Colin left at 12:10, 12:10, 12:10. He came up and gave me a kiss goodnight and said, how's your migraine, Mom? I love you. Good night. He walked up 3 flights of stairs to get there, too. Everyone knows that. Everything else is real fuzzy. It's all fuzzy. Because those conversations about potentially babysitting for Michael Proctor's children when Lizzie was going back to work was like right before the murder, right? But you do remember the one time you did, which was a couple years or maybe a year before that, but you don't remember the stuff that's closer in time, honestly, to tell you the truth. I'm not going to lie.
There was are you familiar that there's reporting that there was an ask that
Yes.
you were asked?
Yep.
Okay. And
Well, I mean,
right around the time, like 10 days prior or something like that.
Yeah, and I honestly don't recall that.
Okay.
I just don't recall that.
But even if you were asked, you're saying that did not happen at that time.
No, it did not happen at that time. Nope,
Okay.
absolutely not.
And if
Nope.
you ever babysat for them, it was years prior.
Years prior. But we're talking,
Perhaps on one occasion you went to.
perhaps on one occasion, yes, when we're saying babysat for them, like not babysat multiple times. If they're
Okay. STFU. It wouldn't have been years prior. Okay. So 10 days prior, there's talks of Courtney suggesting to Michael that you called Julie to babysit for you because, you're in a pinch and your nanny dropped you or whatever. She says that when she went there, the kid was in a high chair and he was like 1 year old. Okay. So it wouldn't have been years prior to that. It would have been within 1 year prior to that. Because again, the baby was 2 at the time of John O'Keefe's murder. Do you see how we can do that math? Do you see how we can extrapolate back, Jules? See how we can extrapolate back? And she's really banging on the table, trying to get them to believe her.
there was, perhaps on one occasion, yes, when we're saying babysat for them, like not babysat multiple times. If there was, it was one time, and I'm just trying my best to remember.
Okay.
But around John's death, absolutely not. Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Or anytime close to that, no.
Did you ever indicate that you were proud of Trooper Proctor and wanted to buy him a gift?
So again,
she's got her story ready for this. Okay. We looked at the messages again on whatever day that was, the Saturday, I think, when Courtney talked about it. I'm so proud of him. I want to get him a thank you gift when this is all over. Same day as Karen's arrest. She's got her story ready for this. Everything else is real fuzzy. But yeah, she's going to have an explanation because remember, I think this had already been brought up in court by this point. Look at her face. And notice how she doesn't remember anything else, but she's got a whole story about this. Ready, set, go.
Did you ever indicate that you were proud of Trooper Proctor and wanted to buy him a gift?
So again, when things happen far back, I don't have the greatest memory in the world. And
Sure.
It's hard to remember every little detail of your life that it's gone on. But
Sure.
I do remember vaguely the day that Karen Reed was arrested.
Mhm.
I do remember being overcome with emotion. Michael Proctor, Courtney's brother, had arrested my friend, the person who took my friend's life, the person who I think took my friend's life. And
Okay. All right. There's so much to unpack here. All right. So now John O'Keefe is your friend, the guy that you called Nevercracker, the get off my lawn guy that you and your husband posed on his lawn while he was on vacation. Because, he hated people on his lawn, giving him the big middle finger and sent him that picture so that you could give him a full on anxiety attack while he was on vacation. He's your friend. You're overcome with emotion. You just told us that you barely knew Michael Proctor except for Thanksgiving and baby birthday parties and gender reveals and Thanksgivings. And but now you're so proud of him and overcome with emotion that you want to get him a gift. Okay, make it make sense. Can anybody make it make sense? The guy you bullied, the neighbor that you hated, is now your friend. Or is it that you're so relieved that someone in your family's not being arrested and someone else is, that you want to get him a thank you gift when all this is over? You make the decision. I'm not going to tell you what to think. I was overcome with emotion. The same way that Michael Proctor said he was overcome with emotion. And that's why he said so many things about Karen Reed that were regrettable and inappropriate. But he was so angry, and he would never do that any other time. He would never do that. And then his phone extraction dropped. That was in a interview we watched the other day as well. She was overwhelmed that Colin wasn't arrested, says Jomar.
Her being overcome with emotion.
She gonna cry?
Michael Proctor, Courtney's brother.
My what? She was gonna say my what? Fill in the blank. Let's play Mad Libs. What was it she was about to say? My what? My nanny's brother? She says my Courtney's brother. Everyone's saying, I agree. Overcome with relief. My friend. My nanny. My bestie. My confidant. My Courtney's brother. She doesn't even want to say that she's friends with Courtney. You think she was going to say my friend? I love her.
Michael Proctor, Courtney's brother, had arrested my friend, the person who took my friend's life, the person who I think took my friend's life. And I just remember being, you hear stories on the TV, you see, people, policemen making, policemen doing things like this. And when it happens to someone that and one of your friends, it's a lot. And I remember somewhat saying something of that nature. Like I don't remember 100% what it was. Mm-hmm. But I remember.
And you didn't go back in your phone and look, or in your iCloud to look, because everybody's talking about it. You didn't go back and try and look for it. Come on. Does anybody believe that?
Saying something, meaning that I was relieved that Karen Reed was arrested for the death of my friend.
Yeah. Yeah, you were relieved that Karen Reed was arrested for the death of your friend. You sure were. Did you or did you not go back to 34 Fairview after the waterfall? Julie? Because that's what Yuri Buchanan wrote down in his report. It wasn't even Michael Proctor who wrote it. Michael Proctor was there. But Yuri was there too. He's the one who wrote it down. Huh. They didn't even interview her and Chris until the 10th of February. 10 days after Karen Reed was arrested. Because everyone kept Colin's name out of it. Colin was never in the house. And neither was that guy. Tell him the guy wasn't in the house.
Okay. And do you remember saying you were proud of him, or?
I don't remember specifically saying that, but I'm not saying that I didn't say that, because proud of him in the sense that, like, he was doing his job. He was, that he did his job, that he was doing his job, and he was bringing John's charges to John's killer. That's basically, I'm trying to.
Well, so let me just ask you a question, Julie. You got two brother-in-laws that I know of. Two brothers-in-law. Brian Albert is a Boston police officer. Kevin Albert is a Canton PD detective. Are you proud of them every time they solve a case too? Is this what you do? Like your birthday tradition of dropping off donuts for all the nieces and nephews on their birthday and the box of Joe, the tradition? Are you proud of all? Do you get all of your relatives thank you gifts when they solve cases? Because you got at least two brothers-in-law that I know of that are solving crimes. Is it something she does, like the donuts? I need to know.
And just be
Sure.
you know,
I'm just trying to just be,
that's base charges to John's killer. That's basically,
Ritual.
I'm trying to just be,
Sure.
you know,
And you said that to who?
it's Courtney. I know that,
Okay.
yeah, yep.
And do you remember what Courtney's response was?
I don't, honestly, I do not.
Okay. And did you ever buy him anything?
Courtney said to Julie, Michael says, get a gift for Elizabeth instead.
No, I did not. Nothing.
No gift. No
Nor, and
donuts?
I'll answer your next question, nor did I buy Elizabeth anything either.
How do you know that's going to be the next question? Because you don't, hold on a second. You didn't even remember that the response from Courtney was, Michael says, buy Elizabeth one instead. So how do you know that that's going to be the next question? DVSP? Do you have special powers that we don't know about? She doesn't remember that was told to her, but then immediately she says, I'll answer your next question. I didn't buy Elizabeth anything either. How do you know that's going to be the next question if you don't even remember what the answer was? Wow. Taking it back.
And do you remember what Courtney's response was?
I don't, honestly, I don't. I do not.
Okay. And did you ever buy him anything?
No, I did not. Nothing. Nor, and I'll answer your next question, nor did I buy Elizabeth anything either.
Ah. Oh, he's writing so much. Now she's freaking out. She's freaking out. Is she going to fill the silence?
Okay.
She's like, he doesn't believe me.
Did you ever speak with?
All right, I need a good laugh. So what do you think if she did buy a gift or would have bought a gift? What do you think the gift would have been? Wrong answers only in the chat.
Trooper Proctor. Did you ever speak with Trooper Proctor directly regarding the investigation into the death of John O'Keefe?
Not to my, no.
He interviewed you on
Not
February
that
10th.
I can, no. I don't. No.
Okay.
He didn't come to your house with Yuri? Bought him a new phone, a couch, a G-string.
Did Courtney ever provide you with information on the investigation into the death of John O'Keefe that you believe was not public,
No.
even if it was perhaps about to be made public?
I honestly don't recall. I don't believe so, but I don't recall.
From like his choice of questions makes me feel like they've got more information about text messages between Julie and Courtney, because the only messages we really knew about back then were Proctor's messages between Proctor and Courtney and Proctor and other people. The only person who gave up her phone allegedly willingly was Jennifer McCabe after she was allowed to delete a bunch of stuff from her kids. But they didn't have a phone extraction from Julie Albert or Chris Albert. And remember, this is over 2 years after the murder. A gift card to D&E. There you go. So the way he's asking the questions, it's almost like he's kind of like intimating like, oh, we already know the answer, so you better answer it truthfully. And she's kind of freaking out a little bit. He's a good interrogator.
Did you ever attempt to elicit information from Courtney regarding the investigation? I mean, obviously it was your, your good friend.
Yep.
You know, there's a natural, and your good friend's brother is the lead investigator.
Lead
investigator.
Yep.
So
No.
It puts you in a position in the middle here that I would almost view it as being human nature that you would
Absolutely,
that
but
would
I
ask.
can answer you no.
No.
She just told us that she knew that Michael Proctor was the lead investigator. Remember how they tried to distance themselves from that? Her understanding was that he was the lead investigator. She just finished his sentence.
Because that would be, I think, if I was in a position like that, I would have a difficult time not asking, because it's, I think it's just almost fundamental human nature.
Right, right. But I also respect that it's her, it's her brother. And I respect that, how do I explain this? I also respect that things just have to be separate. Like they shouldn't, I wouldn't put that on her. I wouldn't ask that, nor I don't know I don't know her relationship with her brother, the ins and outs of her relationship with her brother. I don't know.
She doesn't talk about that, or?
About her brother?
Doesn't talk about sort of.
Her and her brother are close, but
Yeah.
I don't know what regarding his occupation in that. Like that wouldn't ever be something that would ever. I don't know. Like I don't know about that.
All right.
You're so respectful. So respectful that many of the only pictures that we've seen with you and your husband and Colin are all giving the middle finger to the camera. Isn't she the one who said that her worst nightmare in life would be having Turtle Boy blog about her? Was that Julie or someone else?
Did anyone else, aside from your own curiosity, ever ask you to elicit information from Trooper Proctor or Courtney? Trooper Proctor's wife, or Courtney, regarding the investigation. Did anyone ask you to try to find out? Like, given the fact that you have this sort of
Connection.
unique,
Connection.
position in the middle here,
No.
that
She offered the word connection. She offered the word connection. Did you notice that?
did anyone else ask you to try to figure out, what's going on, from Trooper Proctor?
No, I don't know who would ask.
Well, I mean, there's obviously, it was a big story in town.
Still continues to be. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And so, and it was, a prominent story, and there's obvious curiosities that
Yep.
And
Yep.
I imagine that if you were close to Mr. O'Keefe, then
Yep.
others that would also be close to Mr. O'Keefe.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be sort of a natural situation if any of them knew that you also were close with the lead investigator, that you would be asking.
Now I'm not close with the lead investigator with his sister.
True.
Okay.
Yes. But if you were close with a close family.
So now you just admitted that you are close with Courtney. You've been trying to deny this the whole time, but you just admitted you're close with Courtney. Good. Thank you.
Family member of the lead investigator, that there
Right.
be, some
But also,
possibility that questions would be asked of you to be asked of him.
right, but also not all, if someone was to ask that, you can't just assume that I would do that,
Sure.
which I wouldn't.
Well, that's why
not
we're asking
Yeah,
you.
not my intention. No.
Okay.
No.
Not my intention. I just knew he would do the right thing. I didn't need to ask because everyone's afraid of Brian
Okay.
Albert.
You indicated earlier that you have never spoken on the phone with Trooper Proctor, or never had any text message communication with him at all?
I think I honestly don't. The only thing, hold on, I just have to think for a second. The only thing that sticks out, and I do not remember if it was when I don't remember if it was a phone call, or I don't remember. Michael delivered the envelope to me.
Okay.
For the, what did I go? The grand jury,
Okay.
and not inside my home.
Michael Proctor is a process server. Is that how they do it in Massachusetts? They serve grand jury subpoenas by state trooper. Is that common? I need to know. Why is Michael Proctor delivering subpoenas to grand jury witnesses? Not inside my home. I didn't let him in. She's not letting him answer the question because she thinks she knows the answer and she wants to just get it out fast before she forgets what to say.
Side of my home. inside my home
Okay.
and not inside my home, outside of my home. And he had to hand that to me. And then he also interviewed me along with his, at a couple days after John passed away,
The
he
10th.
interviewed me along with his, what was the guy, I forget the guy's name. Was it?
Sergeant, your tenant.
Yeah, him, yeah. He interviewed me in my home.
She did
Me and my
whisper the
husband.
dirty name. She did whisper the dirty name for Yuri, his nickname. Please don't write that in the chat. I don't allow it. I'm not having my channel stricken because I didn't know what it was when it was said the first time, and I can't unhear it. But she did actually whisper it. He interviewed me in my home, me and my husband. That was her tapping, I think. Yes.
Okay.
Along with him.
Okay. Prior to that, though.
Okay, we're going to stop here because Kyle Sharkey, of course, is amazing and has sent me the actual full 3-page interview of Chris and Julie Albert taken by Yuri and Proctor. Hold on. We already looked at page 1. Let's look at page 2 and page 3. It's wild how their stories have changed. Oh. And here is page 2. Where did I go? Where's my screen? Talk amongst yourselves for a second. Way too many tabs open. I'm going to get a draft. Okay. Let us go now to take this down, bring this up. Bias says that is unusual for a trooper to be serving grand jury subpoenas. But I remember Tully served Lindsay Gattani with hers, so I don't know. Here's page 2 of the witness statement. Now, we just heard her testify about all the times that she met Michael Proctor. All the times that she met Michael Proctor before the murder of John O'Keefe. She even babysat for his one kid before the murder of John O'Keefe. And here's page 2 of the witness statement. And it says, this is Julie and Chris Albert. They were interviewed together. Exactly how they're not supposed to be. But hold on, this is not the way I wanted to share it with you. So give me 1 second. This is the way. It's easier to enlarge. Okay. And we just read in the on page 1 that Julie and Chris said they followed back to 34 Fairview after the waterfall. Paragraph 2, page 2 reads, following formal introductions. Wow, isn't that crazy? Formal introductions. Julie Albert provided her cell phone number and Chris Albert provided his cell phone number. And both stated it's been 4 or 5 years that they knew the victim, John O'Keefe, and only met Karen Reed once in a social set. Why do they need formal introductions? When Julie Albert has been Michael Proctor's sister's nanny for 9 years. They don't need formal introductions. Why would you even put that in there? Both stated it's been 4 or 5 years that they knew the victim, John O'Keefe, and only met Karen Reed once in a social setting prior to the 28th of January. Julie told us that Karen was not her friend and only an acquaintance, and that John was her friend. Chris told us that he had never exchanged personal info with John prior to the 28th of January. Oh, so just the day he winds up murdered that's the day you get his phone number? Okay. Is that a coincidence? Chris went on to say that earlier in the day, John came into D&E Pizza with his adopted son, Patrick. Chris shared with us that he had plans to go to CF's or the waterfall later on in the evening. Julie texted John that she was at Waterfall around 8:45 p.m., telling him to get down there. Oh, I forgot about that part. Julie Albert, the one with the migraine, the one whose interview we're listening to right now, Colin's mom texted John, get down here. We're at the waterfall. Get down here. And I pointed this out many times too. Many times when we've been talking about Karen and John's relationship. I'm like, I get the feeling that John was like the bachelor in town that everyone wanted, right? Like all these married women wanted John. Like they all wanted to be around John all the time. John was so cool. John had Riz, you know, they wanted to be with John. And Karen's the girlfriend. She's not from there. She's not one of them. She's a professional. She's not a stay-at-home mom. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but she has nothing in common with these women. And these women are constantly texting John all the time. If it was me and I was John's girlfriend, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, why are these chicks always texting you and telling you what to do? Get down here. It's weird, right? It's just weird. She's educated. She's professional, right? Microdots is here. Woo woo. Hi, Microdots. I forgot. Julie texted John. She was at the waterfall around 8:45 p.m. telling him to get down there. At 10:41, Julie sent the last text to John. And shortly after, John and Karen walked in the bar. So how many texts did she send John that night? How many texts did Julie send to John? Have we ever seen them? We know about Jennifer McCabe's text with John because she gave her her phone and they have John's phone. But where are the messages between Julie and John? And how many did she send him? How often did she text him? Was this the first time Julie was ever texting John? Or was Julie texting John all the time? And how did she know? Right. Oh, Chris shared with us he had plans to go to the CFs or the waterfall later on in the evening. Why is Julie then the one saying, get down here? Why does Julie want to see John so badly? Julie remembered that as John and Karen walked into the bar area, Karen pulled a drink out of her jacket and sat it onto the high top table. Julie remembers her bringing a drink in her jacket. John offered to get Karen a new drink, but neither Chris nor Julie remember whether he followed through with it. I have a question. The waterfall video, the surveillance video that we've seen from the waterfall, because I genuinely don't remember the answer to this. Microdots, you probably do. Was Julie Albert in that footage at all? At the waterfall? I remember Chris. I remember him trying to like break up a fight of some sort, maybe people might think, but I don't remember whether or not Julie Albert was in that video, but she says she was there because she remembers she was there. Okay, thanks. But I still have questions about whether they went back to Fairview because in the first page of this, they said they did. John offered to get Karen a new drink, but neither Chris nor Julie remember whether he followed through with it. Shortly after this, Julie developed a migraine and left the bar to go home. Is there any video of her exiting the waterfall? Chris stayed behind with the rest of the group for a few more drinks. Chris told us that he purchased a round of shots of Fireball whiskey for the group, but was not sure exactly who drank theirs and who didn't. Chris told us that John was drinking Bud Light during the evening. Chris told us that John actually got Karen the same drink she brought in, which he assumed was vodka soda water. She said she picked up Nicole and Caitlin, but then Caitlin said she came with Tristan to go to the waterfall. Yeah, there's a lot of just weird stories, a lot of stories. Chris stated that when he walked out of the Waterfall Bar and Grill, he remembers John and Karen walking in the opposite direction of his path and suspects that he walked right and the couple walked left on Washington Street. Well, remember, this is 12 days they've had to get their story together, right? Imagine if this was on video. This should have been recorded, but it just wasn't. Chris recalled John being dressed in a baseball hat, gray sweatshirt, and jeans. Well, that's interesting that he would remember that, right? You think some dude 12 days later is going to remember what another dude was wearing that night at a bar? 12 days later. Do you think? He knows exactly what he was wearing. Interesting, right? When asked about the drink that Karen brought into the waterfall, Julie told us it was a taller, cylindrical shaped glass with a lime in it. They really, 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 really needed Karen to be guilty. Both Julie and Chris agreed on that Karen was not shit-faced and that John is always reserved. Okay, so again, you're saying she wasn't shit-faced. I don't know what that means to you. Oops. Julie told us jokingly, John and she had a conversation about a block party since the Alberts moved away, and that John, was not intoxicated, and Karen was totally herself. Karen was totally herself. According to both Julie and Chris, nothing about their behavior indicated that either one was drunk or even buzzed. Both held a conversation perfectly fine. When asked, Julie and Chris stated that there were no arguments between anybody at the bar in general, but specifically, no issues between Karen and John. Page 3. This is one of the longer witness statements, as you know. Well, maybe you don't know because it's been a very long time since we've looked at them. Julie told us that she was asleep at 4:55 a.m. on January 29th, 2022, when her phone woke her up, and it was Jen's missed call, and that is how she found out about John dying. I don't think not enough is made about this. That is how she found out about John dying. Okay, what? If you missed the call, how did you find out about John dying? Is it because Jen left a voicemail? Did anybody ever ask Julie for that voicemail? And how would Jen know that John was dead at 4:55 a.m.? Because that would have been right after Karen called Jen looking for John on the niece's phone. But she would go on to deny this too, right? Yeah, she testified. Double Trouble said she testified on the stand. It was 5:55 a.m. Oh, another Scrivener's error. Oh, but Jen wouldn't have been calling her at 5:55 because that's when they were in the car on the way to 34, right? Yep, Julie knew John was dead before he was found. John wasn't found until after 6 a.m. I think the first 911 call was like 6:05. Yep. And Yuri is the one who transcribed this, not Proctor. They can't blame it on Proctor this time. When asked, both Julie and Chris told us that John did not have any injuries to his face during the evening at the waterfall, to include tears and rips on his clothing. When asked to list everyone present at their table, Julie and Chris had mentioned everyone previously accounted for. Additionally, Chris mentioned a Greek couple that was at their end of the table, or the end of the table. Trooper Proctor since has positively identified the two and scheduled an interview with them. Yeah, it's the Kolakithises. Without having any more information to provide, Trooper Proctor and I concluded our interview of Julie and Chris. We thanked them for their time and left the residence without incident. All the problems. Interviewing them in the same room together, not recording it, waiting until the 10th to do it. XOXO, Sergeant Yuri Buchanan, Norfolk DA's office. And just for emphasis, and so that we can have all of these in the same place, we read it earlier. But let's go back to page 1. It says that they went back to 34 Fairview. Nobody's making enough about this either, but I'm sure they're going to be asked about it at deposition. If she ever does show up for her deposition, because she's a no-show. Again, dated February 21, to Brian Tully from Uri Buchanan, the interviewer Chris and Julie Albert. On February 10th, 2022, approximately 5:30 p.m., Trooper Proctor and I went to their house to conduct a pre-scheduled interview of Julie and Chris Albert at their residence. Both Julie and Chris were present at the Waterfall Bar and Grill the night of January 28th, 2022. And then followed to Brian Albert's home in the early morning hours of January 29th, 2022. It's right there. And then followed to Brian Albert's home in the early morning hours of January 29th, 2022. How could that be a mistake? How could it be a mistake? The purpose of the interview was to get their recollection of events, both at the bar and then from 34 Fairview Road. Did he screw up by putting that in the first paragraph and then saying later that she went home with a migraine? I don't know. Rhetorical, maybe. Go back to her interview. See what else she tells us.
I mean, there could have been a time where, like,
Oh, well, I forgot the question, so we got to run back to that. She's talking about her interview, and that's why we stopped to read their interview.
was it?
Sergeant Uri Buchanan.
Yeah, him. Yeah, he interviewed me in my home, me and my husband,
Okay.
along with him.
Okay. Prior to that, though.
I mean, there could have been a time where, like, a funny picture could have been sent, like, you know, a funny picture could have been sent to. I'm talking like, I don't know. I don't know.
Did you have his number in your phone?
I honestly, maybe like years and years ago, I might, like, I'm not, when I say years and years ago, I mean, like, you know, years ago, like maybe 4, 5, 6, possibly. I don't know. I honestly don't remember, because I know that, like, there was a funny picture of Courtney when she was younger. And I know that, like, maybe she sent it, or maybe he didn't, but maybe she sent it, because she would be the connection.
She would be the connection.
She would be the connection to the three of us.
So,
Yep.
So there's a possibility that there was.
Possibly, but honestly, nothing like communications back and forth, like, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? Ever. Never,
Okay.
Not 10 years ago, not 15 years ago, not a month ago, not a year ago, never. Because I don't have that kind of relationship with him, and I never have.
Okay. Are you aware that there's some reporting that there was?
Yeah, well, so the reporting that you say, like, that there was a text message in it, or a message, and it was empty or something. Okay, so from what I take of that, I'm not going to sit here and say that was that, because I heard that as I was sitting in my living room on a television in a courtroom from someone talking into a microphone. So yes, I'm aware of what they said because I watched the hearing.
Sure.
But
They watch everything. They watch everything. I know that's what they said in court, but I don't know if that's really true. And I never went to check.
that's as far as I know. And there was 2 that were unfounded, or I forget the word he used.
Sure.
So that's what I heard. Yes.
Okay. And that didn't jog your memory at all?
No.
Okay. And so do you currently have Michael Proctor's number in your phone?
I do not. I mean, I can check. I do
Sure.
not believe so.
Picks up her phone and starts to look. Now she's getting real nervous. She's been nervous the whole time, but she looks real nervous.
No, I do not.
You don't?
No.
Okay. So obviously
We don't know what she just searched in her phone, but she says she doesn't have his number in there.
this is a situation where the defense is asserting something, which you viewed in the hearing, and you have no memory of these text message communications. What we'd like to do, with your consent, is we'd like to look at your phone for any record of those communications. It would be narrow to just looking to see if we.
If you can come to your screen, come to your screen. She looks at him like this. And then she looks down at her phone. And she looks back at him. She's like, are you serious right now? Like, you want me to hand you my phone? Remember, Chris did, but Chris doesn't get interviewed until the next day. So she clearly went home and said they wanted to look at my phone. So he clearly was prepared for it. But then Chris got real nervous when he said, I don't want you to just search Proctor's name, because what if I was saying things in there about Proctor? I wouldn't want to, like if I was saying Michael Proctor's a dick, like I wouldn't want that to come out. Okay, so just come and look at her face if you can. What we'd like to do is we'd like to look at your phone.
In the hearing, and you have no memory of these text message communications. What we'd like to do, with your consent, is we'd like to look at your phone for any record of those communications. It would be narrow to just looking to see if we can recover or find the text messages that were referenced in court the other day, because obviously without having the material that was in the text messages, it leaves it up to speculation and interpretation what they were. I believe that they probably did occur because typically I have it. There's no reason to believe that they didn't occur if they're being, put forward in open court. So it's important, I believe.
This Massachusetts State Police trooper does not believe that the defense would lie in open court. There are good troopers. I happen to think Captain Benson is one of them. Look at her face. He's got 4 phone numbers. That's right. Proctor has 4 phone numbers.
To try to figure out what was in those text messages, because in the absence of hard information of what they were, it is left for speculation, which obviously isn't a good thing given the situation.
Right. So I'm just not going to make this decision right now.
Okay.
I'm just going to talk to my husband and, but I mean, and get back to you, because I wouldn't even know how to.
Okay. Well, so what it was, so.
I mean, right now she has to consent. They don't have a warrant. They really may not have probable cause to get a warrant, right? It's not a crime. I mean, he just wants to know if she's had any communications, because he's doing a little investigation for Michael Marcy to find out the depth of the relationship. But the fact that she's like, no, I can't, I got to think about it, makes me think she's got something in there that she doesn't want them to see. Tell me what it makes you think. May have to do with Michael Proctor. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it has to do with Colin. Did her jaw just set when they asked for her phone? Yep. Yeah, I got to talk to my husband, because I got to get back to you. So she's got to go home and talk to them about it. So he knows when he comes in the next day, that's what they're going to do.
Okay.
I'm just going to talk to my husband and, but I mean, and get back to you, because I wouldn't even know how to.
Okay. Well, so what it was, so to make your informed decision, what it would be, we're not looking to dump your phone.
Okay.
Which would be to extract all information from the phone.
Yeah.
We're looking to look through the phone for communications with Trooper Proctor.
Okay.
And any group text message threads that you and Trooper Proctor are on together. And most importantly, really the primary function is to figure out what was in those messages. Because you can see, obviously, in the absence of real information, people can say that they're anything.
Yeah.
Because there's no information to the contrary. So finding them, I believe, or trying to recover them is a good thing. It's a good thing because it's a good thing regardless because it's in the interest of justice, I think, to.
He says it will be. He's like, listen, we're just trying to get at the truth here. We're just trying to, you give us what you have, and it's just we're gonna call the defense attorneys liars for you, because if you give us what you have and it's not what they said, they wouldn't lie in open court, but it's gonna be helpful. And she keeps answering his questions. She says it will be. She keeps speaking for him, finishing his sentences. It's just weird.
To the contrary, say that of real information, people can say that they're anything.
Yeah.
Because there's no information to the contrary. So finding them, I believe, or trying to recover them
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Well, yes, it's a good thing because it's a good thing regardless because it's in the interest of justice, I think, to recover them because it is information, hard information, which is what should be presented, at court. So that is our purpose, and that is why we wouldn't expand it to other areas of your phone, but I think you understand the importance of recovering those messages.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that would be the ask. So not asking for a decision right now, but if you can get back to us, we're speaking to your husband tomorrow.
Yep.
So that would be, if you had an answer by then, that would be awesome.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
And that's why we ask. We know that it's intrusive, but there's a significant, significantly important to figure out what those messages were.
Understandable. Yep, I understand that.
Do you have any questions for us?
I understand that. I just got to go sanitize my phone with my husband first.
At all?
I don't. I probably should, but I don't.
Sure.
I don't know.
I want to get out of here.
Do you have any? Do you have anything that you think that we didn't understand or that you think isn't clear in the record in terms of the questions that we asked?
Well, I mean, to sum it up, like to put what we just talked about.
Sure.
Courtney is a friend of mine. Michael is her brother.
Sure.
Years between us age-wise. He's an acquaintance of mine. That's just how it is. Elizabeth is an acquaintance of mine.
They love that word.
Her parents are, it's just the whole
Second
it's
family?
It's just Courtney, and it's just because she's Michael's sister. Doesn't, he's just an acquaintance. That's
Okay.
what it is.
And I don't want to get too much into the actual homicide because we're
No, and I don't want to.
narrowly focused on this relationship situation, but I really have not followed this case very, very closely. What is just the bare bones basis of your relationship with John O'Keefe?
What is my relationship?
Yeah, were you
yes, he was my
neighbors
neighbor.
with him? Okay.
Yes, he was my neighbor.
For a long time.
He was my neighbor for probably 8 years, maybe.
Probably.
Maybe give or take a
And you
year.
became friendly with
Yes.
him because of that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Did
Yep.
you know him previously?
I did. I knew of his situation because, it was a big thing in Canton when his niece and nephew's mom died, and then it was a sad time when the mom died, and then shortly
Sure.
later when their dad died, it became, it was a very sad time. And then, with all the newspapers and the fundraising and everything, and then, I didn't know him at all at that point. I had no idea who he was. And then he came in and did the good deed and moved near me, and that's it. Yeah, moved 2 doors down.
Okay.
Yep.
He was just my neighbor. She's not saying that he's my dear friend. But earlier she was so upset about it. He was my neighbor. He did the deed. He did the good deed. He moved into, his sister's house and took custody of the children after, his sister and her husband both died in within I don't know how 6 months of each other or something. Yep. He was my neighbor. That's all. Let me out of here, please. Thank you.
Captain Barrios.
I have no questions. No further questions, no.
Okay.
You can ask me anything about Colin? Now she's just got a blank stare on her face.
Actually, I'm sorry.
Oh, go right ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go right ahead.
So he does know who you are. That he meaning Trooper
Michael?
Proctor, right?
Does he know who I am?
Yes.
Of course he knows who I
Okay,
am,
I
yes.
just wanted to-
Absolutely knows who I am, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So they didn't need formal introductions when they formally introduced themselves to you February 10th of 2022. Got it. Has she admitted yet that she was the nanny of Courtney for 9 years? She has not admitted that yet, right? She was only asked about babysitting for Michael and Elizabeth Proctor. She has volunteered a lot of things, but not that she was Courtney's nanny for 9 years.
Yep.
Wouldn't that be the
Okay.
first thing you would say? Instead of middle school, 6th grade?
So just to clarify,
Mm-hmm.
we probably have already gone over this, but would you talk to Courtney about the investigation into the death of John O'Keefe?
Would I talk to her?
Yeah.
You know, after it happened, how you doing?
Sure.
You know, my friend passed away tragically. Like there's no way around that, you know?
Sure.
And
Now it's my friend.
you know, how's everyone holding up? Like stuff like that.
Okay. But in terms of the, investigation or the,
No, not really.
the
No,
charges against, Karen Reed.
no. And I really, I wouldn't put anyone in a, like, I wouldn't put someone in a position like that. I wouldn't, like, I just wouldn't put someone in a position like that. Anyone.
Okay.
Right.
Because, it's only natural. And I think that actually I'm pretty certain if I was in your position, I would be talking to my friend, about this circumstance. If one of my, former neighbors and friends, was apparently killed, and, it just would, and it seems like it did kind of consume Canton. And you're kind of right.
Did consume, it is.
It is
Yeah.
consuming
Yeah.
Canton. So it seems like, seeing as though you're right in the epicenter of that, it's, again, it's kind of a human nature thing. If I was in your seat, I would be talking to Courtney about the case probably a lot.
It's like, I would
Well,
do it.
I
You
can
can
tell you,
tell
I
me.
don't speak to her a lot about the case. No, I don't.
No.
No.
And you didn't get the sense that she was sort of funneling information.
Was it 67 times? 67 times is not a lot.
No.
And you didn't get the sense that she was sort of funneling information from
No, I did not.
Proctor to you.
No.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, that
There's nothing-
was awkward. She just looked right into the body cam camera. The sweet woman did the Lord's work. Just went back to her testimony. She and Courtney talked on the phone 67 times from February to September, but she told Yannetti they rarely spoke. Huh. 67 times. So they must have had one of their phone extractions, Courtney's or Julie's, right? I don't know. I want to know more.
Nothing further. We'll conclude the interview and shut off the reporters. The time now is 4:43 p.m. Monday, March 18th, 2024.
Okay. And then she comes back the next day, the very next day, March 19th of 2024. Chris's interview was done at 4:45 p.m. And this must have been right after Chris's interview ended. Oops. Because now it is 5:56 p.m. That tracks because Chris's interview was a little over an hour. So maybe she came with Chris. And so this is the very next day, March 19th. She's back in the hot seat. And look at her mugging for the camera. Mugging, not mogging. You know the difference if you've got a teenage kid. Okay, here we go.
Okay, the body cameras are running and we're on the record with audio and video recording. Today is Tuesday, March 19th, 2024. The time now is 5:56 p.m. We are inside a conference room located in the office space of the Disabled Persons Protection Commission located at 300 Granite Street, the 4th floor in Braintree, Massachusetts. I am Detective Captain Eric Benson with the Massachusetts State Police, and I'm joined today by
Captain George Barrios, Mass State Police.
Conducting an audio and video recorded interview of, could you please say your name, ma'am?
Julie Albert.
And your date of birth, please. And your address?
They muted all that.
And for the benefit of the record, we interviewed you yesterday at
Correct.
State Police Headquarters in Framingham. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes, you did.
Okay. And then sometime after you left, a couple hours after you left, at approximately 6:23 p.m., you gave me a call.
I did.
Their playbook.
And during that call, you advised that you located Trooper Proctor's phone number in your cell phone,
Correct.
and also located 2 text messages from Trooper Proctor.
No, one text message from him,
Okay.
one text message back to him.
Okay, so 2 text
Two
messages
text messages
total.
combined between me and him. One
Okay.
to, one from.
Okay.
Yep.
And
The page down in the Jennifer McCabe playbook. Remember how she called Lank to come back to the house because she wanted to add to the report? Because I don't know if I told you this, but I heard Karen say to one of the first responders, "Could I have hit him? Did I hit him?" I just want to make sure you write that down.
and that those are both from after the death of John O'Keefe.
Correct. Yep.
And I then indicated, obviously, that we'd be interested in having another brief interview with you.
Yep.
And we had already arranged to meet with your husband here today.
Yep.
So we invited you back today.
Correct.
For a second.
Yep. If I was able. Yep.
Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And you explained at that time, and maybe just for the benefit of the tape, you explained how you came to find Trooper Proctor's phone number in your phone and
Correct.
sort of the circumstances surrounding that.
Yep.
Could you just explain that again, please?
Sure. I was looking up a photographer that from Canton, and he sometimes photographs my son's sports teams and does senior pictures, whatnot. His first name is Mike. I was looking to send him a text message about something. When I hit Mike, there was Mike Proctor, Mike Tereski, who Mike Tereski is the photographer.
Oh man, he's outed. If anybody wants to give the guy some business, he's probably going to deserve it because all the trolls are going to come for this guy now, Mike Tereski. So you had him in your phone under Mike Proctor, not Michael. Okay. All right. But you're not familiar with him and you're not friends with him either, but you call him Mike. Got it.
And I said, oh, I do have his number. And that's when I immediately called you because I had his number. But when I looked, when I was in the interview, I typed in Michael, which that's what I will call Michael Proctor, Michael.
Listen, as soon as you type up MI, aren't things going to come up? Come on. Come on, lady. Might have been born at night, but I wasn't born last night. And neither was this investigator. Captain Benson seems like he's kind of on it. Right. What if you just typed in Proctor? Would it come up then? Or did you just have him under Mike? Come on, man. She knew she couldn't get caught in a lie, so she had to come and call right away. Just like Jennifer McCabe, like Mike Rodots pointed out, Jennifer McCabe called back the FBI after they left, after Matt read her the riot act and said, you know that if you lie to the feds, it's a felony. You better call them back. And all of a sudden remember something. Yeah. And he said, why'd you have the number in the first place? She says it was after the murder of John O'Keefe. Okay. So you call him Mike. Okay, good. Yeah, right. Like you would just look that up instead of Proctor. Okay, cool.
Not Mike. And that's why it didn't pop up on my phone.
Okay.
When I was sitting in here with you guys.
Okay.
Because I typed in Michael, not Mike. And when you type in Michael, it's M-I-C-H. It's not M-I-K-E. So even if you spelled out Michael, it wouldn't, the letters don't match up. So it wouldn't have popped up.
Right.
And then I called you right away.
Perfect. Well, we appreciate
I'm a
that.
good girl.
And so what we'd like to do is we'd like to take some photographs or maybe just document with the body camera. Excuse me, the contact and the text message.
Absolutely.
In terms of our ask yesterday to essentially look at your cell phone for any text messages with Michael Proctor, have you given any?
I have, but I haven't figured that out with my husband just yet.
Okay.
And I will be getting back to you tomorrow on that, but I don't see it being a problem.
Okay, because he did consent to that, and we ran several numbers from several numbers that we had from Michael Proctor through his sort of text message search, and we came up with nothing.
Yep.
So obviously we didn't do it right because he's saying that he found some last night or something. But
Who did?
He did apparently. But in any event,
So I'm trying to.
that's.
She's like, who did? My husband said that? Really? This was a great point that somebody pointed out earlier. I started for later, but now that she brings this up, I'm going to say that he brought it up. Zoe said, I've been thinking about 4 phone numbers for Proctor. She says, I suspect one phone number was a desk phone at Norfolk County DA's office for MSP and Homeland line. No, because this investigator just said we plugged them all in to see if he was texting. You can't text from a landline. So they're all cell phones. That was a great point, Zoe. But we just heard him say that. All 4 of these phones that they have for Proctor were capable with texting. Maybe 2 of them were burner flip phones. I don't know. Take that back again. We ran several numbers through Chris's phone. We watched that on Saturday.
From did consent to that.
Being a problem.
Okay, because he did consent to that, and we ran several numbers from several numbers that we had from Michael Proctor through his sort of text message search, and we came up with nothing.
Yep.
So obviously we didn't do it right because he's saying that he found some last night or something. But
Who did?
He did apparently. But in any event,
So I'm trying to.
that's the scope of our inquiry. Just to reiterate sort of the scope, so
Yep.
he's familiar with it. It's just a matter of looking at the text messages for his information.
Okay. I'm just trying to find this now because ironically, when I type in Mike, it's not. I'm just trying to find out how I.
Ironically, you mean you didn't screenshot it for the guys to make it easier on yourself because you want to have to do all this again in front of them and it prolong the visit? Really? We know about Colin knows how to screenshot messages with Allie, or somebody does over there. You guys didn't know how to do that? Come on.
Did you have it into this Mike Proctor?
Got it.
But is that how you have it in?
Mike. Yep.
Proctor, or just Mike?
MIKE.
Last name Proctor.
PROCOR.
What? PROCOR?
And 727.
Wait a minute. PROCOR? Proctor? I don't know if this gets corrected because I haven't watched it again. No spoilers. Let's hear that again. And she's going to read his phone number out loud. Didn't Aiden Carney call him once from like on the air and like read out his phone number? I wonder if this is the same phone number. I'm sure one of you armchair detectives will figure it out.
MIKE.
Last name
PROCOR.
There's no T in there.
And
Purposely misspelled. People are saying. She just said the phone number out loud.
7193. 727. Can you, is it possible that I can just write, because I'm forgetting what the number is, because it's coming up.
What do you want to write?
A little nervous. He's like, I'm not giving you a pad. No, I'm not giving you a pen, but you get nothing. And like it. You'll get nothing and like it. Do you think there's another weak link here? Anyone? This is all muted right now. It's not you. She must be repeating the number over
Now,
Okay.
it's not, this is like the same thing my husband just said. I'm not understanding.
Yeah, it's not coming up with the
No soup
I'm
for
not
you.
understanding what's going on right now. More results will be shown once messages are finished indexing. Could it be like a
Maybe, actually, how many bars are you getting here? I've got 3.
2, 1, 2?
One.
I'm just very,
Okay.
unless I do it this way.
Her head is cut off because the body cam is what's recording them, and it's like on the table.
I'll get to it.
Can't believe she didn't have it pulled up and ready to go when she came in with her husband. He was all dressed up in his finest suit and tie. I think he was going
Sorry
to
about this. I'm trying.
a board meeting.
I'm trying. There it is. See? So when I type in,
Okay.
so you guys do your thing.
So do you mind if we
Absolutely not.
document this? Oh.
No, so
Okay. So this is text message thread,
That's from-
2 text messages.
that's from, and that's,
Yeah, I think that he knows which is which, okay? You don't have to Julie explain anything to this guy. He's a freaking sergeant, Captain Benson. They're going to show us a full screen of her phone.
my response stack.
The first one, the
from-
2 text messages.
That's from, and that's my response stack.
The first one, I'll read it just in case the body cameras don't pick it up. Hopefully they do. First is an iMessage sent Thursday, June 22nd. Doesn't say the year, at 4:57 p.m. And it reads, "Hey, hope you guys are doing the best you can during this bullshit. I tried going through your attorney to set up a date and time to speak with Colin, but he hasn't returned my calls or my office calls. Can you guys speak with Colin and see what day and time works for him to come in and talk to us? Take care."
June 22nd. It doesn't say what year it is. This is March of 2024. So it had to have been June 22nd, 2023, because they waited a long time to interview Colin, right? Huh. Hope you guys are doing okay dealing with this bullshit. Why is he talking to witnesses? Even if it's to interview their son, why is he commenting on what he thinks is bullshit? Huh? Because if it was June of 2023, that would have been around the time where they were allegedly being harassed by Aiden Carney. Is that more information for Aiden Carney that he should know? That Michael Proctor thinks that it's all bullshit? And don't worry, we're going to lock him up soon. We're going to indict him soon. Huh. Want to hear that again? Hope you guys are doing okay dealing with all this bullshit. Oh. Uh-huh.
Day, June 27th. First, the body cameras don't pick it up. Hopefully they do. First is an iMessage sent Thursday, June 22nd. Doesn't say the year, at 4:57 p.m. And it reads, "Hey, hope you guys are doing the best you can during this bullshit. I tried going through your attorney to set up a date and time to speak with Colin, but he hasn't returned my calls or my office calls. Can you guys speak with Colin and see what day and time works for him to come in and talk to us? Take care." And you respond on Thursday, June 22nd at 7:02 p.m. "Hi, Michael. Same to you and E. It all really sucks. I hope the kids are doing good." Okay. And
Hope the kids are doing good. I'm going back to my calendar, June 2023. The June 22nd of 2023 was indeed a Thursday. You're not familiar with Michael Proctor. You're not friends with him, but you're wishing his wife and his children are doing well. This text message, the only one that she found, is telling us everything.
And keep in mind,
and you respond on Thursday, June 22nd at 7:02 p.m. "Hi, Michael. Same to you and E. It all really sucks. I hope the kids are doing good." Okay.
And that's it, but nothing about when Colin can come in for his interview or his witness statement. That's it. That's where it ends. Do you expect us to believe that? And she called her E, right? E. E, just not Elizabeth. E, not Lizzie, just E.
And
keep in mind, I don't know if it means anything, but the check mark.
oh yes,
So, I don't know.
Yep. And so you responded,
No,
or he responded with a thumbs up to your message.
No, well, he liked the message
He liked-
itself.
he
He
liked
didn't
the
give
message.
a thumbs up. Yes.
Okay. And just to make sure.
No, that is giving a thumbs up because you have a choice of emojis that you can respond to. So that is the thumbs up. And she's actually trying to tell Captain Benson of the Massachusetts State Police how an iPhone works. Okay. Okay. Did she know that Proctor is like investigating Aiden Carney at this point? And how they all just really, really, really want to stop Aiden Carney to stop blogging about them and talking about them? Because he just started talking about them in April. And then this is June. And then by October, he's arrested. And then by December, he's in jail for 60 days. Huh. And that's all you have? Okay. Got it.
Whether we grab that. And then do you mind if I click on his contact?
Absolutely. Go to it.
Go to it.
Okay. Info. Okay.
It's blurred out.
Trooper Michael Proctor's contact is in your phone under Mike Proctor. And the phone number is.
But how did she spell Proctor? She said earlier, Procor.
And that, do you know if that's his work phone or his?
I have no idea. I would have no idea about that.
Okay. And I'm wondering if I can click on this to find out like when this was. Is the year.
Does it say right there or just the
No,
time?
just the time.
Oh, of course. Can I move it? Sorry,
Yeah,
I
of
don't mean to
course.
be screwing you guys up. 622.
But she doesn't know about
Right there.
phones.
6/22/2013.
No,
I'm sorry, 2023.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay. 6/22/2023. Okay. And I have to ask that, you know, that does seem like a fairly casual statement, you know, or text message from, you know, from a state trooper, you know, particularly, you know, during
During this situation?
during
Yeah.
a situation.
Yep.
So it you know, it suggests that there was a you know, friendly relationship to some extent to me. You know, I'm not sure that I would say that to somebody who I was totally unacquainted with. Is that,
Well,
to what do you attribute sort of the casual nature of that?
the casual nature, I believe that a lot of people at that time are and continue to be going through hell.
Oh,
It's not about being friends with someone. It's not about being close with someone. It's not about it because he is an acquaintance to me. From all accounts, he seems like a great guy, but to call someone a friend to me and to call someone an acquaintance is two different, you know, levels to me. And I just think that he was trying to do something that he had to do based on his job. Based on what his job is, and he had to try to get in touch with my son because the lawyer didn't return the phone calls. I mean, sounds to me, it's just pretty.
Because the lawyer didn't return the phone calls. Why did Colin have a lawyer? You don't have a lawyer with you here right now. Why did Colin have a lawyer in June of 2023? You're saying the lawyer didn't return the phone calls? That's not what Michael Proctor said in his message to you. Did Michael Proctor mention a lawyer at all? They got this kid lawyered up, but they're not hiding anything. Don't you worry. They were all being harassed. Turtle boy, turtle boy, turtle boy. This would have been in June of 2023, right? It would have been a year and a half later because that would be the first time they would ever interview him. Because they kept him out of it until then, until they could no longer keep him out of it.
Cut and dry. And my son, you know, levels to me, and because he is an acquaintance to me.
Get Thanksgiving together.
From all accounts, he seems like a great guy, but to call someone a friend to me and to call someone an acquaintance is two different, levels to me. And I just think that he was trying to do something that he had to do based on his job, based on what his job is. And he had to try to get in touch with my son because the lawyer didn't return the phone calls. I mean,
Were you still proud of him then? Were you proud of him then when he had to reach out and interview your son? Were you still proud? Look at her face. Oh my God, my freeze game is so on point.
sounds to me, it's just pretty cut and dry. And I would respond to him or, hope kids are doing well. Like,
And E,
hope
you and
kids
E.
are doing well. Just like
Okay.
So I wouldn't take that. I wouldn't take that as someone I'd say to one of my BFFs, my best friends.
Sure.
I just take it as an acquaintance. Hope you guys are doing well also. I mean, given what has gone on the past 2 years, a
Sure.
lot of people are going through problems in
Sure.
their own problems in all different ways. And that's just the way.
Okay. And you don't remember how you came to get his number in your phone?
Oh, I would have, honest to God, no idea. No idea.
All right.
Nope.
Okay. You have any further questions about that?
I'm just curious how you had his phone number.
Mhm.
You have no idea it wouldn't have been from his sister Courtney.
I'm assuming if I got his phone number, it would have been from his sister way back when. I mean,
It's fair
that's
to
what
say,
I'm,
right?
yeah. I mean, I'm assuming. I mean, I honestly, like, I truly and honestly don't have an answer for that.
Okay.
One thing that came to mind overnight is, has anyone come to you, obviously your relationship with Michael Proctor and his family is obviously being discussed.
Correct.
In court, correct?
Yeah, so I hear. Yeah.
And so has anyone at any time during this come to you before we came to you, come to you to attempt to ask you any of these questions regarding?
Did I have discussed with you two?
Yes.
No.
Regarding your relationship with Michael Proctor and
No.
his family members.
Nope.
So to be clear, no members of federal, state, or local law enforcement have come to you to ask any of these questions?
Nope.
Adam Lally never asked you. Michael Marcy never asked you. Then why was Michael Marcy so adamant in his August of 2023 hostage video that Michael Proctor had no relationship with the Alberts at all? And you're an Albert, but nobody ever even asked you. That's wild.
No members of of defense counsel's team, including any private investigators?
No.
No members of the Norfolk County State Police Detective Unit or any other members of the Massachusetts State Police?
Absolutely not. Nope.
No other members of law enforcement?
No.
Okay.
No. Nope.
Okay.
And
that includes attempts. So did anyone
Nope.
ever call you or come to your house and attempt to interview you in regard to this?
since this last court hearing where I
Not
want to
since
make
the
sure.
last court. No, not since the last court hearing. Since at any time, at any time during the pendency of this case,
Regarding,
John O'Keefe case.
okay, regarding Michael.
Regarding your relationship with Michael Proctor and his family members.
No.
Okay, basically regarding, there are things that are being said in open court regarding your relationship with, or alleged relationship with Michael Proctor. And so no one.
So you're meaning like I'm walking out to as an example, I'm walking outside to my car and a private investigator walks up to me and starts asking, example, I'm saying, walks up to me and starts asking me questions. Like,
Yes,
or you're
something like
talking,
that, or they call you on the phone.
They call me on the phone. No.
Kind of just like what I did
Nope.
the other day. I
No,
called on the
no
phone,
one
I
has-
introduced myself, stated my purpose that I was looking to, investigate a relationship with Michael Proctor.
No.
Nothing like that has ever happened.
Nope.
Nobody has
Nope.
has
No
come
one
to
has
you.
reached out to me other than you. And
Other
then
than-
I reached
Okay.
back out to you.
Okay.
Yep. Nope.
And the reason I ask is obviously if you know a relationship is being discussed or an alleged relationship is being discussed in open court, to me, you know, I'm not sure that I would make statements in open court without at least endeavoring to speak to the people that I'm making these statements about. That's why I asked. You know, if I was going to be talking about somebody's relationship or alleged relationship, you know, as an investigator, I would certainly at least have tried to talk to them about that.
They suck.
To sort of get their side of the story.
Meaning,
Like what I'm doing
kind
right
of
now.
okay, but you're talking like, are you talking like the defense? Like I was just explaining. I guess at the end
why I was just explaining why. Excuse me, why I was asking the question. Like obviously, there are people that are talking about your relationship.
Yeah, alleged
relationship.
Yeah.
But those people that are talking about that have made no effort to talk to you about it.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
That's what 100% That's what I was just getting at. That you know, and the reason why I was asking is that obviously, if you had spoken to somebody in the past, then that would be a prior statement of yours regarding this matter, which would be relevant to our inquiry into your relationship. So
Right, that we would be required to turn over to the defense. Even this guy knows, Captain Benson knows, they didn't follow procedure. His head has already popped off. It's like in New Hampshire at this point.
Yep.
Just wanted to see if you had made any statements to anybody else, private investigators, other members of law enforcement, etc. You know, regarding this particular, you know, issue regarding your relationship with Michael Proctor, because obviously, you know, it would only make sense to me that if people are talking about it in open court, there would have been some effort to investigate this by talking to you.
Yeah, but
along the way.
I wouldn't be as, you know, some person walks up to me in my parking lot and tries to ask me questions.
No, and I'm not saying.
Yeah. It's just like when I got your phone call, just like I said, I had to try to. I Googled, and I'm not going to lie. Because right now it's crazy town, and anyone can call and say anything on the telephone, and you just have to.
I'm not going to lie. I Googled your phone number. What? Remember, the FBI went to talk to Jen McCabe a year prior to this, in April of 2023, before Turtle Boy ever wrote his first article. You think she doesn't know that the FBI went to talk to Jen McCabe? Jen McCabe is her sister-in-law. What?
Where?
I get it, and so I'm not saying, you know, and obviously it would be totally within your rights to say no, that I'm not interested in talking to you. But at least if there was an attempt to speak to you, I could maybe understand a little bit more why you know, statements are being made about your relationship with somebody.
I don't really know, but no one has, besides you, no one has tried to ask me questions.
Do you think that could have happened and you just told somebody no, that you're not going to speak to them? Has anybody ever approached you during this case,
Turtle Boy?
You know, not a member of the media, someone acting in some sort of an official capacity and tried to interview you, and you've just said no, thank you?
I'm getting really confused here. When we say,
I'm not looking to confuse you.
When we say a member of the media or something, there was a time that I received a telephone call, but in my eyes, I wouldn't say this was a person of the media.
No, I'm not interested in the media. I'm not interested in the media.
Yeah,
not the media.
Okay, but it was no one that I spoke to. I mean,
did Turtle Boy leave her a voice message? That's what it sounds like. I mean, I don't know. She's getting very loud. Why are you yelling? Stop yelling. You don't need to yell. I can hear you just fine. I'm sitting right across the table from you. Some people feel like the louder they are, the more believable they are, right? She's really, really trying to get him to believe her. And still, interview number 2, she still has not admitted that she was Courtney's Proctor's nanny for 9 years. She wants to answer everything but the question.
So I don't want to confuse you.
Yeah, well, I'm very confused right now.
That's not my intention at all.
What part of the question don't you understand, ma'am? What part of the question don't you understand? Has anybody in law enforcement or from the defense team or a private investigator ever tried to talk to you about whether you have a close relationship with the Alberts? It's a very simple question. Because we know the FBI ice cream truck was in your sister-in-law's neighborhood, and she lied and said that she was your other sister-in-law, Nicole. So, I don't know. Maybe she's not sister-in-laws with Jen McCabe. No, because they're not. Her sister-in-law would be Nicole. I don't know what I'm saying. They're all in the same family. You know what I'm saying? You know the FBI has been poking around. Did they poke around to you?
Basically, if you had given any statement to anybody else in regard to your relationship with Michael Proctor, that would be something that would interest us because it would be a prior statement of you. And so obviously if your statement to that person differed from what you're telling us, we could then compare the statements, or if it was consistent, it would corroborate what you're saying. So basically, I'm just trying to figure out whether there are any prior statements that you've made.
Honestly,
but it doesn't sound like there are.
No, I mean, I went in front of the grand jury a couple months after John passed away.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was a couple, it was a couple months. I believe it was a couple months after he passed away.
But were you asked about your relationship with...
I don't know. Okay. No, not at that point. And to be honest with you, I was grieving the loss, of...
No, because the grand jury was a sham, ma'am. Of course they wouldn't ask you about your close relationship with Proctor because she never would have been indicted for murder. And why, for the love of the traveling Mary, would even this woman be called to testify in front of a grand jury that was trying to upgrade Karen's charges to murder? What does she have to add? What does she have to offer? She said Karen seemed fine at the bar. Well, exactly why would Lally need to call her in front of the grand jury at all? She was still grieving the loss of her friend in like April, May, June. Nevercracker? Come on. I'm surprised she hasn't turned on the tears yet. She tried once, didn't really work. She quickly pivoted away. That was in the first interview.
After he passed away.
But were you...
passed away.
Yeah.
I think it was a couple, it was a couple months. I believe it was a couple months after he passed away.
But were you asked about your relationship with...
I don't know. Okay. No, not at that point. And to be honest with you, I was grieving the loss, of my friend. Like I don't even remember. It was a scary thing to sit up there.
Did anybody know if she went to the wake of the funeral? Like, do you really know for real? Like, don't just guess. Did Julie Albert go to John O'Keefe's funeral or wake? Because she's still grieving the loss of him months later when she goes to testify in front of the grand jury.
I get it.
It was very whatever.
And so to the best of your knowledge, no one aside from us has attempted or actually interviewed you in regard to your relationship with Michael Proctor?
No.
Okay.
No. The only other interview I've had was an interview about the night that John died in my home with Trooper Buchanan.
Yep.
And what we discussed yesterday. And Michael. Yep.
Yeah, she's saying the interview was held in her home, not that John O'Keefe died in her home. That's clearly not what she meant. But let's hear it again because she almost flubbed. Oh, she was a no-show at the funeral and the wake, says JMS 8989. But she's still grieving the loss of her dear friend months later. Come on, man.
An interview. No. The only other interview I've had was an interview about the night that John died in my home with Trooper Buchanan.
Yep.
And what we discussed yesterday.
Okay.
And Michael. Yep. That's it. Yeah. And I'm sorry if I got confused, but
Michael.
No.
Michael.
That I think we've clarified the confusion.
Okay.
Okay. Very good. So you'll get back to us in regard to our request
Yep,
for,
I will call you tomorrow.
for the additional,
Yep.
scrutiny of your phone.
Yep.
And if you can, that is one of the numbers that we plugged into your husband's phone. So maybe you can try to help him pull up that text message.
He's a rough one when it comes to electronics.
Well, no, in his defense, that
Did you do it too?
I'm the one who did it, so
Yeah.
it didn't come up for me for whatever reason. But you did seem to have some problems. So I'm wondering if there is some sort of
They could have, because
issue.
yesterday when I typed in, I'm telling you, when I typed in it was
I don't know. It wasn't
there.
coming up. But
Yeah.
we're interested in collecting.
what you. Yep.
He has
Yep.
as well on that.
So when he gets home from his meeting tonight, I'll grab the phone and try to type in and see if I see anything, and tell him to just call you. You said you'd get back to him. He'd get back to you.
Yeah,
Okay.
he can just give me a
Okay.
call. And
So
then-
maybe
then
it is
just
like.
circle back around.
Yeah, I'm looking at one bar right now. I don't know. I don't know. I never thought that affected that, but I don't know.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah.
But regardless,
Okay.
that was it. I appreciate you coming back
Yes,
in, and hopefully we'd be able to use this space if you and your husband
needed.
come back
Yep.
in for that issue. So, any further questions or
No.
issues?
No.
Captain Barrios?
No, sir.
No.
Nothing.
Okay, if that's the case, with nothing further, we'll conclude the interview. The time now is 6:18 p.m. Tuesday, March 19th, 2024.
But wait, there's more. There's more. Part 3 is April 3rd of 2024. So it goes from March 19th. So over 2 weeks later, she comes back for the third time, because everything in this case happens in 3. Jen. I hit him. Let's see what she's got to say on April 3rd. I can barely wait. I can barely contain myself.
Okay, the body cameras are activated,
Ooh,
and
side-eye to
this
the
is all being audio and video recorded. Today is Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. The time is 3:35 p.m. We are inside an interview room located within the Disabled Persons Protection Commission, located at 300 Granite Street in Braintree. I am Detective Captain Eric Benson with the Massachusetts State Police. I'm joined by
Captain George Barrios, Mass State Police.
and we're conducting an audio and video record interview with, could you please state your name, ma'am?
Julie Albert.
No
And your
chance
date
she
of birth?
skates. No chance she skates.
And your address.
Wow.
And your phone number.
Looks like a different location because you can see the
Okay.
window
Oh.
there.
And
Wait, did you say the Braintree place?
this is the third time that we've met like this, correct?
Yes.
Third interview for you. Just do a little bit of a rehash on how we came to get here. During your second interview, during our first interview, we asked you if you would consent to a limited examination or search of your cell phone for any text messages between yourself and Trooper Michael Proctor.
Yep.
You indicated that you wanted some time to think about that. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And then during the second interview, which was the following day, we asked you again if you had considered our request, but you still needed some more time to think about it. Is that accurate?
Yep.
And then following that interview, we played a little bit of phone tag.
Yeah, I got sick.
You got sick,
Yeah.
so there was some time passed.
Yeah.
You were ill. We eventually reconnected back at the end of last week, maybe Thursday of last week. We agreed to, you indicated that you had considered our request and were prepared to consent to the limited search of your phone.
Yep.
But that you were still ill and indicated that it would have to be this week.
Yeah.
So we agreed to speak on Monday. I called you Monday a couple times. Sorry to be a pest. And then you responded eventually by text. And we went back and forth trying to settle on a time. Ultimately, we decided on today at 3:30 approximately.
Approximately because your schedule opened up.
Yes. So anyways, that's how we got here. Is that sort of fair?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you are prepared to consent to an examination of yourself?
I am.
Okay. And so we have a consent to search form, which is standard here. You can read it.
I just want to point out something because I had to go check the date. This is March. Well, this is now April of 2024, but it was March of 2024 when Chris did his interview, right? March of 2024 is also around the same time that they started investigating Richard Schiffer in the rubber duck investigation for the little teeny weeny rubber ducks that were left around town with the stickers on the bottom that said Colin did it, IYKYK. And that police report, which we went over again recently, is 36 pages long by Canton PD. They were doing trash pulls. They were visiting Richard Schiffer at his place of work. They were downloading his Toyota TechStream data, all because Chris Albert complained about these little tiny rubber ducks with the little stickers on them. All of this was happening around the same time. So at the time that they are not giving up their phones and doing all the things that they're being questioned by the MSP, they're also insisting that people like Richard Schiffer be persecuted for witness intimidation for rubber ducks and monopoly money that said justice for John O'Keefe on it. Just to put it in perspective. They couldn't go to her house when she was sick, right? They had to wait for it to be at her convenience for her to come in. See? Proctor was not investigated in the rubber duck investigation, I don't think. It was the other guys. Tim the Toolman Taylor was Canton PD and some MSP, but I don't think Proctor was involved in that one. Here we go.
Consent to an examination of yourself?
I am.
Okay. And so we have a consent to search form, which is standard here. You can read it. But I'll fill it out.
Okay.
That picture of Julie on the thumbnail is real. It's a freeze frame that I took from it's a screenshot. Somebody wants to know if it was AI. No, that's real. It's a screenshot. Thank you, Laura. She wants a Caillou emoji. She can't unsee it.
What
We've been talking about that for a long
cell
time.
phone is it? An iPhone?
iPhone. Yeah, I think it's do you need like the
No.
Okay.
iPhone, and that's associated with.
Thanks, Akudo, for your 5. Kyle Cowden for your 5. Theo Kurland, his ears are bleeding with the accent. I give you 10. His ears are bleeding.
Okay. You can read this over.
Okay.
And then if you're satisfied, if you have any questions, please ask.
Okay.
Otherwise, we can just print your name here and then sign your name, print your name again here, sign and date.
Okay.
And forget about the password, business, and then we can fill in the rest.
Okay.
Pretending to read it real fast. Tuxbury's backpack, thanks for your 20. Melanie's Yacht Rock playlist. How long has this been going on? Best. Thank you for your 20. And your username is the best. Tuxbury's backpack wins the day.
All right, you said that. Then sign right here.
Print,
here.
sign, and then date.
Good.
That's perfect. Thank you. And then consent was given on the 3rd day of April, 2024. at approximately 3:41 p.m. Okay, and then
Elizabeth was at Marcy's office with her. I think Georgia Count on that had to do with the indictment of Aiden Carney. Maybe it was the grand jury, or maybe they were prepping them for the grand jury to indict Aiden. That's what I think she was referring to. Too bad.
okay, and Captain Barris and I will sign the bottom as witnesses.
God, I'm looking at the top of yours, nice. Oh,
She's worried about the smudges on her phone. She's wiping them off with her sweater sleeve.
Okay. All right. So what we'll do is we'll just get my numbers, what I'm going to do, and you're obviously going to be here.
yeah.
Just
So they're not taking her phone away and like doing a total extraction of it and then returning it to her 24 hours later like they did for Brian Walsh. They're just going to plug Michael Proctor's 4 phone numbers in there to see if anything comes up.
Sorry if anything comes through. My kids are ruthless.
so I'm just going to start to plug in the numbers that I have, and to see if anything comes up.
Mm-hmm.
And have you found anything
No,
in the
except what
intervening time?
No, the only thing,
Is what?
to my knowledge, is what I called you back after our first interview.
Okay, and that was the one on the 2093 line, which is what I found here.
And you already photographed that?
And we already photographed this,
It's
but
just 2 texts.
just for the
Yeah, do it again.
just for the sake of this, we'll do.
Just a normal mom. What did she say? My kids are what? Relentless? Wouldn't it be so funny if a message popped up from Colin? Like, have they asked anything about me yet? She doesn't know how to put her phone on Do Not Disturb? Come on. Because they're ruthless. Ruthless.
I've already done this, but I found that I need to get a lot closer with the body camera than I thought I did in order to
Because it didn't work last time.
have it come out clearly.
All
The
fuzzy.
other one left a little bit to be desired, but such is life, I guess. So,
Oh, there it is. So here's a close-up of the phone screen. If you can come to your screen. Oops. It says Mike Proctor. And then it says iMessage Thursday, June 22nd at 4:57 p.m. Hey, and this is from Proctor. Hey, hope your guys are doing the best you can during this bullshit. I tried going through your attorney. Oh, he did mention the attorney to set up a date and time to speak with Colin, but he hasn't returned my calls. So now I'm coming straight to the mother. He's getting all this on body cam. And he's scrolling up. Then he says, he hasn't returned my calls or my office calls. Can you guys speak with Colin and see what day and time works for him to come in? He's going around the attorney's back. That is also not cool. If Colin's represented, he should be going through the attorney. He shouldn't be going through his parents. But, you know, they're so close. He's not just an acquaintance because he's reaching out to the mom to set up the interview when he should be going through the attorney. That's also a big problem, in my opinion. Can you guys speak with Colin and see what day and time works for him to come in and talk to us? Take care. Wow. Wow. And then she waits a while to respond to him. At 7:02 p.m. She responds, hi, Michael. Same to you and E. It all really sucks. Hope the kids are doing good. And that's it. He thumbs up the message, and then there's nothing else after that. She doesn't even talk about Colin at all.
And this is the one that we already documented last. We read that aloud last time in your second interview. So, and that was the only two text messages between this telephone and Trooper Proctor's number ending in 2093.
Are you asking me or just saying this?
I'm
aloud?
just,
I didn't know if I was.
sort of reading that
Okay.
into to the record. There are no.
She was sick for 2 weeks, but she had time to freshen up her highlights or her color. She looks a lot blonder than she did 2 weeks ago, right? Maybe it's just the lighting. Those overhead fluorescents are killer.
No text messages come up between this phone and Trooper Proctor's number ending in 0165. Eight 304 nope. No text messages come up between this phone and Trooper Proctor's number ending in 4991. And no messages come up between this phone and Trooper Proctor's number ending in 5367. So the only messages on this phone were the two messages, one incoming and one outgoing, to Trooper Proctor's number ending in 2093. And I'm just going to search the full body of the text for just the last four of these numbers. See if it comes up that way. 165.
Thank you, Anne Marie Crochets, 3-5. In West Virginia listening, 3-5. She looks really nervous, doesn't she? Well, no, now
Okay.
she's not nervous, actually, because now she knows there's nothing there. So there's that.
Yeah, that's it. So the only messages, no messages between that phone and Trooper Proctor's numbers ending in 5367, 4991, 0165, and just the two messages with Trooper Proctor's number ending in 2093. In terms of, do you have anything from the last two interviews that have come to mind? Anything that that you want to add or whatever else? One thing, and perhaps we didn't ask the question clearly.
Remember, Karen Reed's team has Michael Proctor's entire phone extraction. So does Rosemary Scaviccio. Aiden's team is trying to get it. They haven't gotten it yet. But Karen Reed's team has Michael Proctor's entire phone extraction. So I wonder if there's any messages to Michael Proctor like, hey, dude, what are your other 3 phone numbers so that I can, see if there's any other messages between us? Because the MSP is checking up on you and our relationship and they want to know. Like, wouldn't that be crazy? Also, Kitty says, let's see if any messages were ever deleted from these numbers. So who knows what's in Proctor's phone? Who knows if this chain that she just provided to them is much longer than that? Messages after, because you can go through your message threads, and actually delete stuff in text message threads, right? You know that.
Enough. In terms of when we asked you about
That'd be tampering with evidence. I mean, I'm just like tossing it out there. Would that be tampering with evidence if like they're on Proctor's phone, but they're not on her phone? I don't know. Do they prosecute people for tampering with evidence in Massachusetts? Huh. Just curious.
How often you communicate with Courtney. Obviously, that changed over time. The frequency changed over time.
What do you mean?
Correct. Like, you don't communicate with her today the same way that you communicated with her, at the same frequency that you communicated with her when she was a kid.
Oh, obviously. Yeah.
So maybe we didn't sort of get through, mine down and, enough in terms of the, the specific time frames.
Yeah.
But I think you indicated like that it varies a lot.
Yeah, it does. It's life. I mean, that's not, it's even, I can say that with my bestest of best friends. Like, I can go a month, 2 months without talking to them and then be like, oh my gosh, like my own aunt and uncle, I can do it. It's everyday life. It's what you have going on in your life. It's if the kids are busy, then in turn, if it's and we're in different stages of our lives. Her kids are very young. My kids are older, so there's no rhyme or reason.
Sure.
But compared to what you're asking, compared to like when they were younger, when they were, there was no cell phones back then. Like, do you know what I mean? So it would just be solely if my sister was involved back then, before cell phones, before anything. So if that makes
it does. And but in terms of, like, you babysat for her kids for
I helped her.
For some period of time.
Yeah.
And is it fair to say that
I helped her. Okay, so Courtney's interview was March 25th. Courtney told them everything. She was my nanny for she didn't say nanny. She babysit for me when I went to work, when my kids were home between 2013 and 2022, 2 to 3 days a week. Julie never admitted that, but now they know because they found out from Courtney on the 25th. Julie's first interviews were the 18th and 19th. And now this is after Courtney's. And she's like, oh yeah, I watched her kids. What did she say? They know now. Now they know. And she's still trying to minimize it. I helped her? Is that what she said? I helped her?
You know what I mean? So it would just be solely if my sister was involved back then, before cell phones, before anything. So if that makes
it does. And but in terms of, like, you babysat for her kids.
Bam, there it is. She's like, wait, how do they know that? Because the only babysitting they ever asked her about was babysitting for Proctor's kids. Proctor, Michael and Elizabeth's kids. And they're like, yeah, we know you babysat for her kids.
I helped her. Yeah.
I helped her. You were an employee for 9 years. And the person that she would call for everything she needed, every time she needed advice. The kids are sick. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I helped her?
In terms of, like, you babysat for her kids for
I helped her. Yeah.
For some period of time.
Yeah.
And is it fair to say that was 2 to 3 times a week or so?
Twice a week.
I
would say probably it would end up being twice a week, but I will say that her parents are very heavily involved with her children's lives. And there were a lot of times when I'm like, oh, do you need any help today? And she'd say, oh no, Papa showed up, or no, BB showing, her mother, they call it, like, is showing up to the house. So it was nothing like,
BB and Pupper. We heard about them yesterday or whatever day that was too. She's trying to minimize it. Look at her face now. Uh-oh, they caught me. Twice a week it would end up to be, right? It would end up to be. But in the beginning, it was 3 times a week. And it was for 9 years. He didn't ask about the grandparents. She's trying to deflect.
Like, you guys have to report to work. It was nothing like, sometimes, like, if her parents, they're older, they would go away to Florida, and she would say, oh yeah, could you grab Jack from school this day and grab Jack this day, like that. But then another week, the parents could be coming home, and it was a thing that the parents wanted to see the kids. So
of course
we don't need to. So yeah, in that.
But would you say that it was a situation where it was approximately 2 times a week?
Yeah, if I did it, it was no more than 2 times a week. The weeks I did it, no more than that.
Okay,
no more than that.
And that one went on for approximately a 9-year period.
oh God, I don't remember how long it went on for. I mean, I really have to think about how long. So her oldest is, no, I don't believe it was that long.
Okay.
I don't think it was. I don't.
Well, how long would you say it is?
Maybe like 2 or 3. Like I don't think it would have been that long because her oldest is 10 or 11.
Yeah.
I didn't watch her oldest when she was an infant. It was more so her youngest son.
Mm.
And right now, I think he just turned 6.
So he just went to school a year ago?
Yeah, so he's in 1st grade now.
So 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah. Yeah.
But prior to that,
and then you got to take in consideration COVID because no one was going near I wasn't going near anybody, COVID time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was
You had Thanksgiving with them during COVID. She's totally busted. Only 2 times a week, only maybe 2 or 3 years. You have to take this into consideration, that into consideration. Why didn't you tell them this at all during your last 2 interviews? Why did it take Courtney Proctor to tell them? And don't you think Courtney would know better than you how long you were watching her kids? Because now it looks like you're making shit up.
Then you got to take in consideration COVID because no one was going near I wasn't going near anybody, COVID time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was prior to that. I went back, I helped her out a little bit after COVID, but not anything crazy.
You just stopped when her youngest went to kindergarten, or maybe 1st grade, the September before this interview. She's such a liar.
okay. So it was not a regimented thing where.
Well, no, I mean, there were some weeks I knew if they needed me, it would have been on a Tuesday, Thursday factor. Cause maybe one of those could have been Courtney's late day at work and her husband had to, by the time he got home, he couldn't be home. So it was but it was not it was not a full-time gig. It was not 5 days a week gig.
No.
It was if it was anything, it would be.
But it was a gig. It was a gig, right? It was a gig. You weren't just helping her. It was a gig that you were being paid for. Wow. Aren't these guys just a little bit suspicious about why she didn't bring this up in the 2 long-ass prior interviews that we watched? Wow. Now it's a gig. Okay, cool. You were just helping her.
It was not 5 days a week gig.
No.
It was if it was anything, it would be Tuesday and Thursday. I know that specifically.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
I know
then
that.
in terms of the time span there was it a situation where you were babysitting the oldest and then there was maybe a small break and then you started babysitting the youngest and then maybe COVID hit?
I don't I know say in the summer, if I helped her out, both the kids would be home.
Yeah.
And Jack at one point was little, he was maybe a year old at that point. So I would have both of them, but the majority of it revolved around if it was during the school year and they went to separate schools. So maybe the little one went to a private school, Catholic school in Canton.
Yeah.
And then the older one was at the Kennedy. So maybe the grandfather would pick up the older one at the Kennedy. I'd have, and then, that, but it wasn't occasionally it would overlap them together, but the majority of it was the younger one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Now she's focusing on whether or not she had 2 kids or 1, but she's not doing a great job. The gift that keeps on giving for sure.
And so if you were to ballpark the number of years that went on like that, it was
Couple, maybe.
a couple.
Yeah. It wasn't since it was I never watched as an infant. I never watched as a toddler. I mean, maybe when she was maybe 5, 6, if she came into the mix because of after school, can you sit with both of them or can you, that, but it's a while ago. It's just hard to remember and I'm not good with dates.
Okay. Okay. So but During that period of time, would you consider yourself to be her primary non-family babysitter?
Yeah. I don't think, other than her parents and no one else that I know of watched them. But yeah, I've watched. Yeah.
And it was regular enough that for at least that period of time, whatever that period of time is, which isn't totally clear.
Yeah.
There would have been relatively substantial communication. Just with the different schedules that had to be sorted out, like
With Courtney about her children.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so in that period of time, there was probably pretty heavy communication.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
and so
not heavy communication for that, just communication that she's a friend of mine. Like,
but I mean, the way that you just described it, like in terms of there could be a day where the parents are able to do it, but I don't know.
Oh, so you have to communicate.
Right.
Yeah.
The very nature of that requires pretty extensive communication just to manage the different schedules.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Okay, so during that period of time, because you had indicated that it varies, how often you communicate with her.
Yeah.
You could go months at a time. Well,
but during that time, absolutely. You have to. There would be no
other way to do it.
Yeah. Or even if I was watching them and they're at work, she's a very involved mom. How are the kids?
Right.
Like, did Jack go to the bathroom after school? How was pickup? Did they give you any? Was Jack?
Right.
Usual.
So you're also driving the kids around. You're picking them up from school. You're driving them. You're notating their bowel habits. But she was just a friend of mine. It took 3 interviews, and it took them asking her about it for this all to come out. And somebody said, "Why does it matter? She wasn't in the house." It matters because the question that they're investigating is whether Michael Proctor had a close relationship with the Alberts. Her son was at the house. Colin Albert was there. Why was his name left out of all the reports? Is it because she helped Courtney Proctor for all those years as her nanny, and now she needed Courtney to ask her brother to do her a favor to protect her child? I don't know, but this matters a lot. Because Michael Proctor never should have been involved in this investigation at all. And he was handpicked to lead this investigation. It's insane.
Because obviously...
Did Jack go to the bathroom after school? How was pickup? Did they give you any... Was Jack... Right. Usual... Okay.
Because obviously and perhaps that was our issue, not mining down on that, but there's certainly, it wouldn't be weeks at a time that would go by during this period of time.
During that, no.
When you're the primary baby.
No.
And that went on for some number of years. The exact number is.
Yeah, but it's nothing like 10, because with the oldest, I never watched her. It was more so the younger one.
It was 9. It was just 9.
Six now. I was 6 or 7, I believe now.
Okay, and you watched him from infancy.
No chance she skates. What do you think? Why? Why did she know? Why did she deliberately hide the fact that she was Courtney Proctor's nanny for 9 years until after Courtney was interviewed? That is suspicious behavior. It is consciousness of some sort of guilt. If it was no big deal and you babysat for Courtney's kids, you were their nanny for 9 years, why would you fail to mention that after you were questioned extensively at length, ad nauseum, about your relationship with Courtney Proctor and Michael Proctor, her brother? But no, it's everyone else's fault. It's Turtle Boy's fault that everyone's talking about your family. Because this right here, for me, out of all the interviews we've watched so far, this one blows it out of the water. I mean, I thought it was bad when Courtney called Colin her little buddy. But this, you tell me what you think.
Nothing because with the oldest, I never watched her. It was more
Not like 10.
The
Yeah.
exact number is.
yeah, but it's nothing like 10, like nothing like, because with the oldest, I never watched her. It was more so the younger one, who's six now. I was 6 or 7, I believe now.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you watched him from infancy through the time that he went to kindergarten?
I would say around that, but infancy, no, she was home for a while. I would say more towards like 1.5, maybe. Like,
Okay.
yeah, he was.
But you were watching the older one while she was tending to the infant, maybe?
Yeah, because I know she was home for a while. They had, between both their jobs, they were home a lot. And, you know, they just wouldn't have left like an infant. Some people just wait as long as they can to have anyone out of family help. That's
Sure.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yep.
Okay. And so any other, am I not asking any other questions that you want me to ask in terms of like to further clarify your relationship with
Courtney.
Courtney, yeah.
No, I mean, I not that I know of. I obviously, and then like, you know, when COVID hit and the world shut down, look, I'm not saying I didn't talk to her, but that's the time when time can go by and
Sure.
your family's all home under one roof and you're all, you know, in the house, like, you know, everyone went through it. And so obviously at that time, like, you don't have to talk or text with someone on a Monday night about Tuesday. Do you need any help? So yeah, that's how things would have changed. But then there was sometimes that you can be sitting on the couch and be texting back and forth. There's no rhyme or reason.
Sure.
Weren't you still her nanny at the time of John O'Keefe's murder? Weren't you still her nanny then? Because the way I understood Courtney's telling it was that this past September, which would have been 2023, is when she didn't really need Julie as much anymore. So were you Courtney's nanny during the time of the murder of John O'Keefe and thereafter for some period of time, ma'am? For like another 1.5 years? Yeah. From barely knowing Courtney to be like, they were just friends, to talk about middle school and everything else. She's just my besties, my sister's best friend, but, you know, I didn't really know her much. My, oh my, how things have changed by April 3rd, only after Courtney's extensive interview. It was wild.
That I can, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know, is what it is.
And do you recall, ever being on a text thread, with Trooper Proctor and Courtney, where she may have been talking about her son getting in trouble at school or something?
She told us that.
When he went to the Catholic school, he did get, I'm not going to say trouble, but, you know, there were instances when you're in kindergarten, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There were instances that went on or whatever.
Kindergartners don't get into real trouble.
No, not
of course.
trouble.
So
I mean,
preschoolers, but did they do something that was funny?
I don't, honestly, I remember, because sometimes I would pick him up and the teacher that would bring him out would say, oh God, there was a little incident today, like that. So I don't really remember if I was ever on. It's like, I remember specific stories when Jack was in kindergarten or Jack was in preschool at that school as well.
Sure.
So I don't remember, I honest to God, I don't remember that. I could have been, I could not have been, I don't remember. But I remember.
You have no memory of being on a text thread with both of them.
I'm just trying to think.
Because Courtney said, oh, there may have been group text messages with Julie and Michael because the 3-year-old got in trouble and had to go to the principal's office and we were all laughing about it together. So there may be some group text messages with Julie and them and Michael and them. Maybe Chris was in them too. Not sure. We were joking about it.
I don't. I mean, I honestly,
No, it's fine. They don't.
no, I'm not, I'd say if I was, I just don't remember. I don't remember either way. I don't. No, I don't. I'm not. I can't make myself remember. I don't remember.
Okay. All right.
I can't make myself
Anything
remember.
No, sir. No
No?
questions.
Okay.
All right. There's nothing further. We'll conclude the interview. The time now is 3:59 p.m. Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024.
She's like smiling for the camera right there. She was smiling for the camera. Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, we got to watch Michael Proctor's interview too, right? His is only 7 minutes long. But before we do that, let's go to the chat for a minute. Wow. She kept looking at the camera. It was pretty wild. My goodness. Miss Priss, I don't know why you can't chat if you're blocked by accident or whatever. You got to email me and send me your link to your channel. That's the only way I can look it up. Thanks for you too. Hello, Lace says, I joined late. How did the FBI get a hold of Proctor's personal cell phone? They can do whatever they want, whenever they want. They don't need permission. How did he not know? Because they do whatever they want, whenever they want, without anybody's permission. Did he think the auto delete erased everything? At that point, he didn't know that the FBI was involved. And so he didn't start his auto delete feature until after he testified in the grand jury, February 2024. And as we know, that didn't work. Thank you for your advice. Poe, I don't know anything about anybody's parents, and I will not, we don't need to discuss that, but thank you for your super chat. Office 39 says, let's FOIA this Benson character at MSP. This feels like a guy brought in to clean up this mess while limiting MSP exposure. This whole thing is a broke down palace. Oh, I love a Grateful Dead reference. Anytime. Anytime. Thank you for your 10. I'm sure somebody's already on it. Overruled, sit down, said if he didn't have John's number until the 28th, how did he send the lawn photos while he was on vacation? Well, Julie had it. Julie had John O'Keefe's number. We know that because she was texting him that night. Get down here. Because, you know, they were friends. Thanks for your 5. Tracy says, I often wonder if the need to protect Colin is because Chris knows firsthand what happens to your life if you go to prison when you're a young man, right? That's right. Chris Albert killed a man in the 90s. I think it was in the 90s, early aughts. Hit and run. Exchange student named Peter Berger was killed. Turned himself in 30 hours later with his attorney, who happened to be Beverly Cannoni's brother. Got 6 months in prison or jail. I'm not sure which, and I'm not sure how much of that time he actually served. And that is a great point, Tracy. That is a great point. Thank you for your 10. Texas Sister says, wait, Julie no-showed again. Didn't she get compelled? She no-showed once. I don't know if because they brought that up at a conference. I don't know if she was ever noticed again or deposed again, but as far as we know, she just no-showed one time. I don't know anything further than that. 635. Leslie says they love to talk just for John O'Keefe. Love you. I love you too. Thank you for your 10. Craptastical, can these interviews be used in the civil depositions? Well, I mean, like, they're not going to show them the video or anything, but they can certainly question them about all the things that we saw her give a statement about. They could be used for impeachment, like at a trial or something, but they're not going to be used specifically the videos in a deposition. They wouldn't do that, no. But obviously, whatever they learn, they can use to formulate their questions, let's just say. Kimberly, thanks for your 10, says great after hearing interview with Turtle Boy. And oops, why did that just go away? And the lawyer's awesome. I will look for it after. Thank you. I didn't see it because I've been with you guys all day. Josie Lou says Julie storms out of the waterfall at 11:18 p.m. Waterfall surveillance video. Long down codon, can't miss her. Chris leaves at 12:13:56. Exits, turns left. Thank you very much for looking that up on the video, Josie, and for your 10. Hospice nurse. Oh, you guys are angels. Thanks for your 20. Mel, after a phone is downloaded with the understanding of only looking for specific items, can the search parameters ever be extended? Well, they didn't download her phone. They just wanted to look physically at her phone. And remember, this happened in Brian Walsh. Brian Walsh and his attorney consented to a very specific set of parameters for the download, and they downloaded Brian Walsh's entire phone and used the whole entire thing. A lot of problems with that. So I don't think that they download with parameters. I think they're only supposed to look at certain parameters, but they didn't do that in Brian Walsh's case. And so they didn't do that here either. They just looked in her phone physically, and I'm not a forensics expert. I'm just telling you what I know from the things that we have watched together. What is required in order to, again, I'm not a cell phone forensics expert. That would be a better question for them. Thank you for your compliments. And you're 20. I love you. On my heart. Yellow Lebetero says, if this was pre-trial and Marcy ordered this, why was it hidden and not brought in? Well, all of these videos were exchanged with the defense. They have them. They had them before trial number 1. It was Commonwealth's Notice of Discovery 36 or something. Somebody who has a lot more time than I do will put the pieces together about with the sidebars and things like that. I haven't read all the sidebars. I haven't had time. About whether or not Alan Jackson, David Yannetti, during trial number 1, tried to get into any of this stuff and whether they were thwarted. Because remember, Chris Albert, Julie Albert only testified at trial number 1. Courtney Proctor never testified at all. Michael Proctor only testified at trial number 1. So I don't know how far they tried to get into this, and they may have been shut down by the judge. And so there's that. That's a great question. Thank you for your 5. Jennifer said, Melanie, I never like to contradict you, but when I'm working, even the people that I know, when I have a meeting with them, I do formal introductions regardless. I know you're very polite in a business setting. You do formal introductions. That's great. Problem is, Proctor never wrote that down in any other witness interview after formal introductions. Buchanan never wrote that down in any other witness interview. So it was out of place. And it is not something typically that police officers do as a matter of procedure. They just don't write that down in their witness statements. So a corporate environment is far different than a police witness statement. Oh, Grant said, Judge Canoni, shut it down. Well, that's great. We can ask him tomorrow when he comes on with me at noon. Set your clocks for that one because it's going to be good. So thanks, Jennifer. I would just submit to you that none of the other witness statements said that, even though some people they were actually meeting for the first time. Colakethises, etc. Just Joey says, I've always believed, and I still do, that all these men use the women in their lives as the conduit to communicate, thinking no one would ever check those connections. Thank you, Just Joey, for your 10 and your thoughts. Ask it differently. Yeah, ask it differently. When you hear that a cop has 4 phones, what do you think? It says case file code. I don't know. Why would somebody have burners? Why did Rex Heuermann have burners? Is it for confidential informants? Is it for other women? I have no idea. You guys can come to your own conclusions on that, and that may be a rhetorical question. Thanks for being here for 8 months. And the problem is me says, I hope Rosemary Scapiccio digs into the 4 numbers. I know. I'm sure she's paying very close attention. I think she was at the courthouse today at Suffolk Superior because somebody sent me a picture of them on the courthouse steps with her today. She was probably in there for another matter, but coincidentally, I think she was there on the same day as Turtle Boy's hearing, unless she was sitting in on the hearing. If anybody in the chat was at the hearing today for Turtle Boy, was Rosemary Scapiccio sitting in on that hearing, or did she happen to just be in the building? Hello said, I thought Carrie was supposed to be the talker. Jam Cracker says, hi, Julie. How's your day going? Tick, tick, boom. Thanks for your 5. Jam Cracker says, hi, Julie. We, the chat, know you're watching. And we know you're watching also. Your lies are showing. Thank you for your 5. Joe Mar says, 4 phone numbers is a giveaway on corruption and hiding lots of details. There's your answer. From someone. Chump and Chow says, oh my God, I can't with the repetitive. Yeah, the jig is up. Happy helper, Jules. Thank you, Susan, for gifting 5 memberships. You're amazing. So generous. Charles is here from South Africa and says he's on his 2nd pack of Gillette razors. Thank you for tuning in. Tina says it's spectacular. Keep them coming. Lozzie says, keep telling us everything, Julie. Liar, liar. Hello says, I think I need a drink and a cigarette after watching this. Thanks for your 5. Cottage Crafts by Kathy says Jen knew Higgins was going to expose him, and Karen to John O'Keefe, she purposely used Bella's house as a landmark to poke Karen prior to arriving at 34. She's an orchestrating mean girl. Thanks, Kathy, for your 10. Charles said, you know. If I know, I wouldn't be asking the questions. Her voice is horrific. Thank you for another super chat, Charles. Sandy gifted 5 memberships because she's amazing too. She's amazing too. Okay, we got one more interview left. It's only 7 minutes long. It is Michael Proctor. This interview was not done until April 8th. So this is the last one that they do. It's the last one that they do in the series of interviews. 3 with Julie, 1 with Chris, 1 with Courtney, and then Michael Proctor on April 8th of 2024. And he does show up with a lawyer. He's the only one who does. Let's take a listen. This is before trial number 1, remember?
Monday, April 8th, 2024, 11:09 a.m. We are inside a conference room located within the law offices of Todd and Weld, located at 1 Federal Street in Boston. I'm Detective Captain Eric Benson with the Massachusetts State Police. I'm joined here today by...
Good morning, Captain George Ferris, Mass State Police.
Conducting an audio and a video recorded interview with, can you please state your name?
Trooper Michael Proctor, Proctor.
And you're joined today by your attorney. Could you please identify yourself?
Sure. Michael DiStefano, Distefano.
Thank you. And so just to sort of be clear, this it was explained to you by your attorney that this is a voluntary interview. That this is not a compulsory interview. We're not compelling you to be here or to talk to us through a personnel investigation mechanism.
That's correct, sir. It's just voluntary.
Okay, thank you. And you're agreeing to speak with us voluntarily without union representation?
Yes, sir.
It was explained to you that you had the ability to have union representation here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you declined that.
I have, sir.
Oh, so wait, that's not his attorney. Wait, he said you had the ability to have your counsel. Wait, hold on a second. He's without union representation, but it's in a law firm. It's in a law office, but it's not the union attorney. All right. Hold on. So this is not the IA interview. We know that. It's a I want to hear that one more time. I got distracted.
And you're agreeing to speak with us voluntarily without union representation?
Yes, sir.
So it's a private attorney without union representation. Okay.
It was explained to you that you had the ability to have union representation here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you declined that.
I have, sir.
All right. Do you have any questions? Well, actually, before we get to that, have we ever had any?
It is in a law office. They just said they're at 1 Federal Plaza in the so-and-so law firm. They just said that, right? Do I have to rewind it? A conference room located within the law offices of Todd and
room
Weld, located at 1 Federal Street in Boston. It is a law office. All right, here we go.
Sure. Michael DiStefano, Distefano.
Thank you. And so just to sort of be clear, this it was explained to you by your attorney that this is a voluntary interview. That this is not a compulsory interview. We're not compelling you to be here or to talk to us through a personnel investigation mechanism.
That's correct, sir. It's just voluntary.
Okay, thank you. And you're agreeing to speak with us voluntarily without union representation?
Yes, sir.
It was explained to you that you had the ability to have union representation here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you've declined that.
I have, sir.
All right. Do you have any questions? Well, actually, before we get to that, have we ever had any extensive interaction throughout our careers that you're aware of?
No, sir.
That's my memory as well. In fact, I don't really ever have a memory of encountering you at all prior to today.
Yeah,
Am I wrong there?
No, I believe this is the first time we've met, sir.
Okay.
Remember, this is before he testified at the first trial. This is just between his testimony at the federal grand jury and before he testified at the first trial.
And Catherine Barrios?
Yes, likewise. This is the first time I'm meeting Trooper Proctor as well.
Perfect. We're here today because we were asked by the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office to inquire or investigate your relationship with Julie and Christopher Albert. And that ask, to the best of my understanding, was in furtherance of the DA's office's obligation to fully disclose any exculpatory evidence or any evidence that could be considered to be exculpatory to defense counsel in advance of the trial of in the matter of Commonwealth v. Karen Reed. So that's why we're here. And we've conducted a few interviews of various people in furtherance of that ask prior to today, and we're sitting down with you today for that purpose. This is not, as we indicated, in furtherance of any personnel investigation or internal affairs investigation, but this interview is going to be provided to the district attorney's office and to defense counsel, and anything in that sphere can be provided to internal affairs. Do you understand that, Judge?
I do, sir, yes.
Any questions about any of that by either of you before we?
No, sir.
Okay.
No.
So we'll get into it. Have you ever provided a recorded or transcribed account of your relationship with Julie and Christopher Albert in any judicial proceeding or to any prosecutor, member of law enforcement, defense attorney, or private investigator?
Yes, sir.
And when was that?
When I testified at the federal grand jury,
That's how this all came
And
up.
when was that?
February 2nd?
February of this year,
Yes, sir.
2024. Okay. And did that testimony generally include questions about how long you've known Julie and Christopher Albert?
Yes, sir.
Did it include questions about how often you communicate with Julie and Christopher Albert,
Yes, sir.
and by what means?
Yes, sir.
Did that testimony include questions about occasions that you've socialized with and or been in social settings with Julie and Christopher Albert?
It did, sir, yes.
Did that testimony ever address whether or not Julie or Christopher Albert have ever been to your home?
It did, sir, yes.
And did it address whether or not Julie Albert ever babysat your children?
Yes, sir.
And did it involve whether or not Julie Albert ever purchased a gift for you or your wife?
It did, sir, yes.
And did it involve questions regarding whether or not you provided Julie or Christopher Albert with information regarding the death of John O'Keefe?
It did, sir, yes.
Okay. Is there anything that you would like to add or clarify about your federal grand jury testimony regarding your relationship with Julie or Christopher Albert at this time?
No, sir. I don't have anything else to add from my statements and testimony from the federal grand jury.
Okay, thank you. Did Attorney DeStefano recently ask you to search your work and personal cell phones for text message communications with Julie and Christopher Albert?
Yes, sir.
And did this include a search for text message threads that Julie and or Christopher Albert were part of, even if they didn't contribute to the conversation?
Yes, sir.
And what was the result of that search?
My phone, my work and personal phone, set to auto delete after 30 days, so I wasn't able to locate any messages.
Wow. That's so convenient that right after his testimony, he said February 2nd, 2024, he testified before the grand jury, which ironically is 2 years to the day that Karen Reed was brought into court after her arrest on February 1st of 2022. 2 years to the day later, you're called in front of a federal grand jury. And then right after you testify and they've got all your text messages that show not quite exactly how horrible you are in full, but horrible in many ways. You then set your phone to auto delete every 30 days so you weren't able to locate any messages. When did you do that? After. He said February of 2024. Remember, they would not get his total phone extraction until something like, it was just recently, like last summer, August of 2025, I want to say. And they got everything because his auto delete situation didn't work for him. They got it out of the cloud from his phone, from his physical phone. He's not having a panic attack here, and he should be.
I have no questions.
Do you have anything further that you'd like to add or any questions at all?
I don't, sir.
No, thank you.
Okay, if that's, if there are no further questions, we'll conclude the interview. The time now is 11:16 a.m. Monday, April 8th, 2024.
And that was it. That was it. And yeah, he is a POS, but somebody said he blew up his life for the Alberts. And also, Taylor said, auto delete when you're a cop. And after the John O'Keefe murder, I'd save everything for the record. Well, he just, he didn't, because it was a personal phone. He didn't think that they were entitled to it or that they would ever be entitled to it and get it. But as we all know and have learned, for those who didn't know, that when you work for a municipality and you do public business on your private phone, the entire private phone becomes discoverable. As does your private burner email, we learned from Cheesy Banana, Michael Morrissey, because he used his private email to conduct public business and says that he just set everything to auto delete. But as we know, that didn't really work out to him so well. Serena, thanks for your Venmo. Interesting that Julie was texting John to come out to the bar and then she storms off claiming a migraine when he showed up. I know, just weird that all these women were texting John all the time, right? I don't know. To me, it's weird. Maybe it's not weird to, the normal moms out there. Maybe that's the way you do it. Thank you, Allie, for that. I'm not going to read that out loud because there's a lot of crazy people on the internet. Robin says, Mel, the gift would be a TLC CD for all the waterfall chasing. Oh, well done, Robin. Well done. Thank you for your Venmo. And Betsy, XO. Melanie 2 times instead of Jenny 3 times. You're very funny. Eric, thank you for the pizza money. I appreciate you. For a slice of pizza. Janet just said thanks, Mel. Thank you, Janet, for thinking of me. Angela said earlier, no judge in the Commonwealth will go against Cosgrove out of respect for him, right? That was during the Turtle Boy hearing. Yep. Some people think that. Woohoo Worldwide said Julie said it was scary after John died. Yeah, like she was grieving, right? Shuda, thanks for tuning in from across the pond, says, I loathe, abhor, and detest the Albert family. They are all utter liars and will do anything to cover for their own asses. God save you all from the Commonwealth. I don't know. Do you think these people, do you think they're going to skate? This is becoming like the Afro Man effect. You know, they used to call it the Streisand effect, but now that they brought all of these lawsuits and these defamation cases, or the defamation case, and the O'Keefes have brought a wrongful death case for a car accident that didn't happen. So many more people are becoming interested in this case that didn't even watch the trials. Many of you are in the chat. Lola the Good Dog says Proctor basically set himself for auto delete. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. It's crazy. Let me know what you think in the comments and what you think of these people and their testimonies, and whether you think that they are being truthful and whether you think that it seems suspicious. Night Owl Nurse, thank you for 5 matcha lattes. Thanking me for all my hard work. I appreciate you guys so much. Okay. We've been on for, I don't know, 4 hours this time and 4 hours, I think, for the hearing earlier. Thank you, Fairy Raven, for 3 matcha lattes. Slancha girl. She's always here. She's in Ireland. All right. So here is what is going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow, we're going to have Grant Smith Ellis on at noon. I haven't set it up yet. Haven't set the stream up yet, but I'm just telling you now so that you can plan accordingly. And then we'll see how the rest of the week goes. I don't know if they even broadcast any of Lindsay Clancy's trial today. I would like to do openings. I do not want to do the entire trial gavel to gavel because it's going to be heavy. It's going to be dark and it's going to suck the soul out of me. So we will cover pertinent portions of it live. The rest of it we can kind of recap. And I just don't think that enough of my audience wants to watch it gavel to gavel because we all want to protect our own peace and our own sanity and our own souls. And it's going to be a really, really, really hard trial. So you know what to do. Like the stream, subscribe if you have not. It is free. Give me your final thoughts, questions, comments, concerns. They did. Fox 25 covered it. Okay, I will go watch it later. Thank you very much. Share the stream out. Do whatever you can to help get the algorithm. You know what all the things are. I can't even speak anymore. It's been too much talking today. I love you with all my heart. I will see you tomorrow at noon. Stay cool, stay kind, stay classy. Thank the moderators. Tip your servers. You guys are the greatest. I could never, ever do it without my moderators. They are the best on the internet, and you know it. You know it. Yeah, they're going to pick 18 jurors for Lindsay Clancy. That is correct. I love you guys so much. And if you missed the affirmation of the day, I don't even know if this is today's, but here it is. I'll read it to you anyway. Here's another one. Badass affirmation. Whoever is trying to bring me down is already below me. This might have been from yesterday or the day before, but it's the one that's right in front of me. Whoever's trying to bring me down is already below me. Remember that. Justice is coming. TikTok. Let me know if you think everyone's going to skate or if you think there's going to actually be justice for John O'Keefe at some point. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out. Have a great rest of your evening.